people in your country that like to crash planes and stuff, that America's going over there. That's just.
I have no dog in this fight between either of them.
You won't because Peter.
He was just trying to get a cam girl to teach people trades. So he thought, let's harness this power for good.
So I'm sure what all of our viewers are wondering is, are these on Pornhub?
I do not know.
I will check.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Unfiltered Podcast, episode 10.
Hey, what's up?
What's up, people?
What's up, people? Who's sharing the drugs?
Please share the drugs.
I think you already used that line, Time.
Yeah, it's going to be.
We need
it. Continue to use that.
No drugs.
Until someone shares the drugs, then.
Yeah.
I just want everyone to know,
Please
regardless
do
what
the same.
perception is, we do not actually do drugs.
Oh, we do.
I smoke cigarettes.
I do alcohol.
I take drugs to live.
I injected 5.
Fair.
I inject marijuanas. So, alright, so we have another guest on this week. We've got Xanadu here with us.
Hi.
Yes, that is the crazy name, Xanadu.
Yeah.
It's not Zoltan like I keep thinking. It's
Yeah,
Xanadu.
this is Xanadu.
If you're old enough, Olivia Newton-John, you'll know everything.
Zoltan.
I'm old as hell and I don't get that.
I'm old
You don't
too.
watch movies. It doesn't. No, it doesn't qualify.
Fair.
Well, I'm just as old as Clay. Clay's a couple weeks older than me, and a week older than me.
Yeah, like 1 week.
But.
And I watch a lot of movies.
Yeah.
But.
And you don't get it.
Do you watch movies from like 70s pop stars?
Who would?
80s, not 70s.
Okay.
Yeah, 80s were bad.
70s had good. Oh yeah, that might have fucked. That's okay. 70s had 70s had pretty good movies though, like comedy wise, like
Right.
Eddie Murphy and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's
Only
Harlem Nights?
70,
Harlem Nights. Ooh Lord.
only 70s
You gonna
movies I
shoot me
really
in my
watch.
pinky toe?
I think are the blaxploitation movies. Those are
There's a
hilarious.
lot.
Yeah.
Wait, y'all seen like Blazing Saddles, right?
Oh my
No,
god.
Blazing
Y'all haven't seen
No.
Blazing Saddles?
Nah.
Dog, we
You
gotta
can't-
watch Blazing
You're not
Saddles.
allowed to be so surprised about anything.
No,
You haven't
but I've
seen
seen
Life.
it.
Right.
I'm surprised anytime I've seen something and no one else has.
That's fair.
I can't believe you haven't seen Blazing. It has Willy Wonka in it,
In my defense,
or whatever. It
I
has Gene
am
Wilder in it.
Korean.
So
And you want to say, oh?
I'm from the hood. Or
I'm doing
was.
very well. How are you?
fuck Korea, y'all suck.
What?
Tuba?
I don't believe Clay.
Your
really
pop stars
feels
rape
like
people
that.
apparently. So.
Yeah.
What?
Wait, whoa,
They don't
whoa.
rape people.
No,
They
it's-
get them raped.
Yeah, there you go.
Same shit.
It's just outsourcing.
No, it's
Outsourcing.
their entertainment
If you
companies
think
that are
about it,
raping
their
them.
population is a little bit too big anyway, so they just ship them out to.
You can't
Fair.
put together landmass versus
We
population.
do not support sexual trafficking.
We are.
One
very-
Or dog sitting.
Do
Yeah.
not support.
We literally talked about legalizing prostitution to help get rid of
Yeah,
The
sexual
sex
trafficking.
trafficking.
Yeah,
which does work. So
it does. Yeah, it does have an effect on it. Exactly.
in some countries.
Well,
So
yeah.
other countries like fucking, I'm gonna do it anyway.
I know it's illegal. I know there's no point in me doing this. I'm just fuck everyone.
Yeah.
I'm a jackass. But okay, so we got some stuff to talk about this week. So we're gonna start with this shit happened, and we're gonna start with some updates. So our first update is regarding the prosecutor in the Jussie Smollett case. This isn't long enough to really dedicate
We know
the
what
whole
you did.
news. Yeah, it's not really long enough to dedicate a whole news segment to. Also, we will have shirts.
Yes.
We got shirt. We'll have them posted somewhere.
Yes,
We'll figure it out.
I'll put the
Once they
designs
come
up.
in.
We should be getting the shirts next week,
Yeah.
Okay.
and then we'll post pictures with the design.
Yes.
Please let us know how you feel about it, because we can tell a lie when we smell it.
So regarding the prosecutor, right? I forget her name, whatever, something Fox or whatever, right? But she had defended this guy that had committed murder. Now it was first degree murder, which means that there's an intent. Yeah, it's premeditated, all that. It was first degree murder, but he was juvenile when it happened. Like he was under the age of 18.
Yeah.
But obviously old enough to kill someone else. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they prosecuted him, but the decision was made that he would instead serve out like a certain amount of time in juvie, and then he would get out on probation instead of serving like an actual first-degree murder sentence or whatever. But they would give him the option that if he were to offend again, like commit another federal offense or aggressive offense like that, then it would be he would go back in and start serving the actual time. Like that would
So
be
like first
From the
offense.
first
So like
offense?
first offenders.
yes, yeah,
Okay. So
which is
that on top of
which is pretty lenient for someone who committed murder.
Yeah.
That's
Was he white?
extremely
very lenient.
Exactly, yeah.
He-
So guy gets out, all right.
Mhm.
I think he's out for like a year, 2 years, something like that. Commits, I believe it was felony assault or felony aggravated assault, something like that.
Yeah, it's a felony. That's the problem.
Aggravated assault, and it's a
Yeah.
felony on top of it. So it was
Probably
an
more.
aggressive, violent
Yeah.
crime, and it was a felony, right? So, what do you think happened?
I'm assuming he walked away. If we're talking about the prosecutor that
Damn right he walked away.
Wow. R. Kelly need to
He didn't go
her.
back. Yeah, right. He didn't go back to jail. So, and then the thing was, right? Like the mother of the victim was talking to the news or whatever, and she said that this lady had. This was before she was the AG or whatever. I think attorney, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It was back when she was actually like practicing the law and all that
yeah.
and prosecuting. She had talked to the lady. She was like, it's going to be okay. We're going to make this right. We're going to seek justice and all this stuff. And she had sat down with them and promised them, like, we're doing this, but if he ever goes back, if he ever has another thing that he gets in trouble for, he'll go back to jail for the murder of your son, right? And this lady was talking about, like, she just felt like she was completely lied to. Like, just completely fucking lied to. Like, everything she said was just completely meaningless. Her word was worthless and all that, right? That this whole trust me thing was completely worthless. And she was like, I have nothing to say to her.
You said she felt like she was lied to?
She
No,
was.
I'm
lied
saying...
to.
I'm saying...
Yeah, she was
Sorry.
legitimately lied to.
I'm trying to
I
paraphrase
feel
everything.
like she's lying.
She said
but-
she in no uncertain terms said that she was lied to. She said this lady lied to me, and whatever else.
It more or less, I guess, the more correct paraphrasing would be, she felt like she was lied to.
Oh, sorry. It was. I know what it was. I was going to say. She felt like she was completely betrayed.
Yeah.
Not lied to. Which obviously she was lied to, but she felt like it was a complete betrayal.
Yeah.
To both her and her son.
100%. There's no justice in that point in time.
Right. There's none at all.
And then, every
Technicality
time
no longer is valid.
every time we fucking talk about the Smollett case, it just makes me feel like, or anyone like tied to this case, it's just, it's aggravating because it points out the fact we already have a flawed system, and all they're doing now is shining lights on these big fucking holes in our systems. As every time they talk about this case,
Yep.
Also,
There's a lot of those holes in Chicago. I've noticed.
Also, I really need to know how much that lawyer cost him. What that and like, because if I ever get in trouble, I need her.
Yeah.
Oh, he won't do it again. Y'all should just let him go.
Nah, you're not,
all right, man.
You're not juvenile. They won't.
Oh, he did it again?
Oh, he
We
might
should just
be.
let him
He
go
kinda looks
again,
like it. It's fine.
Man, listen, Smollett wasn't a juvenile either.
But he also didn't kill anybody.
We know what you did.
He on the technicality, he whooped his own ass.
Well, he needs to do it again.
Fair enough.
I can just see that,
That
nigga in
man
his
paid
dresser room.
somebody to beat his ass, so he didn't whoop his own ass, but by transitive property.
Hey, Jussie, we'll pay someone to whoop your ass again.
We'll do
100%.
it.
Nah, I won't.
It's gonna be a female this
I'm
time.
not.
I will.
It's gonna be a female this time.
$3,000. I will put down $3,000.
But
only he has to consent to it. He has to sign away all this stuff. Jojo, stop it.
What?
Why?
I
My
physically
shit
watched that in
finally-
slow
He
motion.
doesn't lift
My
it
shit
up.
finally had to be
He
on the
lifted
podcast.
himself from
You're
the
welcome.
chair.
I'll
to
start a
let that
fund,
rip.
right? But only with his consent. Like, okay, he says it's cool for me to raise money to pay someone to whoop his ass. Okay? But I'm going to find someone who's, like, big.
I want to get someone like that's from the UFC and is like has a real vendetta against
Joe
him.
Rogan. We'll pay Joe Rogan. We'll pay Joe Rogan to beat his ass.
Hey, Joe Rogan, we got an opposition.
In fact, we won't even do. We'll pay him to
announcer?
fight Joe Rogan in the octagon. That's what we'll do. You get in there and fight him.
Isn't
yourself.
Joe Rogan just an announcer though? He doesn't actually fight.
He's like he's like ripped as fuck. He spends all his time working out. He
That wasn't
knows
the
everything.
question.
He knows all the stuff about MMA.
Yeah, but he's an announcer.
I know he's an announcer, but I think he practices MMA.
I guess he's saying Joe
If I
Rogan
recall
because
correctly.
Joe Rogan is tied to the UFC, and so
Well, he's tied to it, but I'm pretty sure he practices MMA,
I'm pretty sure he does too, in like some
or
form.
at least has fought MMA in the past.
Joe Rogan versus the gay.
I know he's an
Tupac.
announcer.
I
but
can't wait.
I'm pretty sure he fought MMA in
Hey
the
man,
past.
let's not say that about Tupac.
That's fair.
But he's the one that said it about his.
He did get on stage.
I know that. I'm not giving.
Which I'm not too happy.
I'm not
about.
giving that quote validity. So we're
Yeah, so that's the update for that. I'm tired of talking about that man though. So
Fuck you,
we're done with this.
scumbag.
He's wow, just do that in the middle. Okay,
Yeah,
Just force shit in the middle of the podcast. Thanks, Will.
yeah. We support PlayStation.
You know, I wasn't coming up to your topic or anything like that.
see, fair enough.
So you were gonna tell us about the consent condom?
Oh, so there is this company. I think it's Tulipan. That was Tulipan.
Oh, okay.
Tulipan. And so
Tulipan.
what they've done is they've created this box
Mhm.
that requires two people to open it that has a condom in it. And,
Oh, I get it.
and it's their form of like giving consent. And so there's a lot of people that were like really happy that they've done something like this, and there's a lot of people that are really upset. The people that are upset is not really upset; they're more or less pointing out the flaws that the consent condom
There's a
has.
real obvious one I'd like to point out.
Yeah. Hey, open this box.
It requires two people to
Or-
open it.
That's what
Or-
I'm saying. Hey, open this box with me. When
Or-
you're completely inebriated.
Or two other
It's
people.
not like you can't just. It's not like you. Oh dang! I don't have the condom now. It's impossible for me to have sex.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
it's more
that
or less
is true.
it more or less ties
Like it
with
raw.
if this
Really
condom was
like
involved,
it
there was
raw.
some level of consent.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see.
If this condom was
Oh,
involved,
that
there
makes
was
more sense. At
yeah.
least. Okay.
That's more or less what they were.
Oh, so
going
that's more
for.
of like a protection for dudes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yes.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah.
So does it take? So
That makes
here's
more
a real
sense.
question: does it take 4 hands to open it or 2?
It takes two hands, but it takes 2 hands to open it,
Mhm.
to hold the buttons, and a hand to actually open the box. There are 4 buttons on it, right?
Okay.
Two on each side, so it's not like you can just like kind of clip it. You actually have to have 2 hands, and then one hand actually has to open the box. Now there are people that have shown videos of like people cheating
flaw.
it that can open the box where you just kind of clip it with like your ring fingers and your thumb,
Uh-huh.
and then you use your index fingers to kind of
That's
pop
what I
the
was thinking,
box
like, it's
open.
There's some
Just
really
buttons.
talented
Yeah,
people
right?
with their
Yeah.
feet.
But
Yeah.
but the
But if you're willing to rape
Yeah, that
someone,
too.
I mean,
at that point, if you're going through the
Well, no, I
process
think
of
you're saying
rape, you're
it's
not
like-
going to pay a premium for a consent
You're
condom.
not gonna worry about a.
Yeah, you are not going to worry
I
about
think what they're
it.
talking about.
I'm just saying
it's
he
a thing
wants some type of
for.
evidence trail.
I think what they were saying is it's a thing for
Like for the females,
men
they'll be
to
like,
use so that they don't get falsely accused of rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
Because
the,
I took it what you were taking it originally.
yeah, but the
That's
problem
what
what
you're
people are saying is that like, consent can be revoked at any point during
Yeah,
during
even
intercourse.
is
in the
true.
middle, you can
Yes.
just never
But
know.
people do get a little bit silly with that, where they're like, "You should ask for consent every time you change position," which
Yeah, there is
it's a bit silly.
you
Yeah,
still want
it's
to keep
just-
going?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, you know, like we here at the podcast, we agree that if at any point either of the people involved say, "I no longer wish to have sex with you," or something along those lines, consent has been revoked and it should stop. Okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We all agree. We're
Yeah.
all on board.
Yeah.
Pull out quick.
Yeah. Now, if you want
Apologize.
me to, if you want me to fill out paperwork every time we change positions, we got a problem.
and you know
Didn't Dave Chappelle had an
Didn't
episode
they say
about that?
like
He
every
probably
3?
did.
Didn't they say
Chappelle
like
was
every
way ahead
3
of his
minutes
time.
you should
Yeah,
ask
he's
if
so
the
ahead of
consent
his time.
was like?
Yeah,
I feel like
yeah.
there was somebody.
There's
that-
someone that said that, yeah. There's been some ridiculous stuff. What happens if it's been a minute and a half? Oh, bitch, you gotta wait another minute and a half. You can't revoke now.
Mhm.
and you know it's
Every 3 minutes, I'm trying to get my time down.
my
Gotta get mine in.
I guess my biggest issue that I'm having with like when it comes to consent is there are people that think consent at any point in time, period, you revoke consent, period. And I'm not talking about during the act.
Even after.
Even after, that
No, see,
is being
that's-
considered rape.
That's idiotic.
And I agree with you.
That's
but
fucking idiotic.
it's like
It's like, oh, we were having sex, you were totally consenting, and then after the fact, it's like, you know what? I changed my mind.
Yeah.
And now you can't do anything
Or if
about it.
they later regret it. There was a meme on that floating
Yeah.
around the internet for a while where a girl was like, I've had sex with someone. I
Uh-huh.
regret it now, but it wasn't rape, and there was like this whole thread of people. I'm sorry, you were raped.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah.
And
these people are serious.
It's real, and
it's the far left.
It is definitely, and it's and what's my biggest issue is that people are attacking. Well, I'm not gonna say attacking, but they are indirectly attacking by constantly criticizing it. But what I think this company has done has introduced the conversation into a healthy sexual relationship.
Yeah,
you know, they've gone out of their way to introduce something that would require some form of consent.
They're at least trying to solve the
problem. Yeah, and people are fucking like, oh, you know, they can rape anyway, or this and that, or consent can be revoked. Oh, great job, guys! You did something to, like, just like whole 9 yards. They're attacking the company in every which way they can, instead of going, thank you for bringing the conversation up.
Yeah.
Thank you for trying to do something about it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about where it can go wrong. That's fair.
It's not like it's a completely unworkable idea.
Exactly.
It's not like it couldn't have just be fixed. I mean, who gets everything right on their first prototype, for fuck's sake?
I mean,
that's
really.
Next, they need to make something for
well, it's actually out.
Raw dog.
Well, yeah.
I get what you mean.
Was it a Kickstarter or something?
No, it's out.
Like a ring
there's an actual condom.
You don't want it.
Well, even still, it's just their first.
Yeah, it's their first run.
It's their first iteration.
Do you guys remember the first attempt they made at this whole conversation or this change of like society?
You probably have to speak up, just most likely.
Oh dang! Really?
Yeah, you're like not showing up at all. So there's you, there's me. So you're gonna have to just either lean forward, just speak up.
When this all began, there was actually this thing that women could wear, where if they said no, if like their decision was revoked, if they were forced against their will, if the guy penetrated them, there was something inside of them that would actually. It's kind of like a reverse condom. It would latch onto the.
I remember that.
The harpoon.
Yeah. It was like the real life quote unquote teeth.
Yeah.
The poon harpoon.
Dangerous.
And there would be no way for them to get it off without going to the hospital.
With a girl.
I think they were using that in Africa, actually.
Yeah, it was. That's originally what it was created for. Was for
women in Africa. Yeah. But
that sounds dangerous. Like somebody could get suckered into that.
Yeah,
too.
just
April Fool's. No,
obviously people are
I knew you was
outsmarting the consent
harpoon.
So there like that.
I see what you're saying. Like it's.
Do I pull it out or?
I'm not saying that's better.
No, I get what you're saying.
It's nice to see the transition from here's protection to here's mutual consent.
Yeah. And the thing about in the protection of that aspect, I guess the problem that I see that will come from further discussion on this when it comes to iterating like products is that we got to figure out, because this seems more driven towards men, which is fair.
Yeah, I was gonna say these seem like different products, completely different products. Like that one's meant to stop rapists.
Yeah.
This is meant to stop non-rapists from being accused of rape.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
but
so
it's beautiful to see how it's
it's evolving.
Yeah.
And that's also that's one of the things why I want to say where like people say we're in rape culture when we're
not.
It's obvious. It has obviously
not.
Obviously not. If
Objectively
they're making an item to prevent people from being falsely accused of stuff like this.
If there's a market for it, I mean, there's a market for preventing yourself from being falsely accused of rape. That's how bad it's gotten.
And it's the thing is, let's look at it like this: if we're in a rape culture, go somewhere with actual rape culture.
If we're in a rape culture, why do we punish people for being rapists?
Exactly.
Yeah. And people always point out like, oh, this person got away
without
with it.
evidence.
Point out someone that doesn't have a lot of money that got away with it.
Fair.
Because if you're gonna point out someone that has a lot of money that got away with a crime, wow, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
Someone with a lot of money got away with a crime. I can't believe it. The swimmer kid.
Oh yeah, that too.
Which actually he I'd say he's a rapist. But according to the letter of the law, he's not, because he didn't penetrate her or whatever, like touched her or something. Which to me is a stupid it's stupid for multiple reasons.
Did you see the legal definition of rape? Men technically can't be raped by women.
Yeah. No, I know. In certain places, there's certain states that do have different things, but like in Georgia,
as long as a woman doesn't penetrate the man,
it's not rape.
Yeah, it's not rape by letter of the law.
By letter of law.
So
she could.
We're not talking about him penetrating her.
No, she could tie him down.
Penetrating.
She can tie him down, proceed to get him erect, and proceed to take advantage of him by using him as some kind of like
Basically a human dildo.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's
not rape.
That's
rape.
not
That's
penetration.
That's sexual assault.
That's sexual assault.
So you have to be penetrated.
Yeah.
In
order to be raped, you have to be
forcibly.
Yeah.
She has to get a strap on.
No.
Oh,
it's
no.
not even, it's penetrated, Jojo.
You have to put if you put like a finger or something.
Yeah, it's penetrated. Period.
Yeah, just with anything.
Yeah,
but
any orifice, either your mouth or anything like that, is still considered rape.
Yeah, but
she has to penetrate you.
Unless she does that.
Yeah.
You by legal definition.
She has not raped
That's
you.
in Georgia.
That's the case in Georgia.
Georgia specifically, and there's a couple other states too. There's quite a few.
There's quite a few.
And it's kind of alarming the fact that like there's actually no legal term for rape for men.
Well, the thing of it is women, and as horrible as it sounds, I'm so sorry, but women can actually have orgasms while they're being raped. So if they're not faulted for that, if it's still considered rape, even though they've had an orgasm, that definition for a man being raped is silly. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Like, I guess I'm trying to unpack what you said.
I'm trying to follow.
So orgasms in most, like back in the day, it was considered that if a woman was raped and she had an orgasm, technically she was not raped because they believed that orgasms happened when it was consensual. When it was consensual, or like they also believed that if you had an orgasm, that you were pregnant.
I know that
if you were pregnant, you had an orgasm, so you weren't raped. So that was the main argument back then. So in today's society, they have recognized that if a woman has an orgasm, even though while she has been raped, it's still considered rape because that can still happen without you doing anything, without you wanting it.
Like people know better now.
Yeah. But this is, for me, that's silly because a man can be completely raped without having an orgasm or being penetrated. They can have an erection without actually wanting to.
Yeah.
So
a fear
boner. That's irrational.
I'm scared.
That's what it's called, fear boner.
Now I don't know if it was ever actually legally. I'd actually have to look that up. To be interesting to know if it was ever a legal definition of like, but if she had an orgasm or whatever. But I know that people.
I mean back in the 50s. I mean like back in like the 1800s.
I know people would make the argument to say like, well, it must have been consensual because of this.
Yeah.
I don't know if it was ever like it had to do this, but obviously like in practice,
it's almost like the ugly woman, and she couldn't possibly re-rape because she was
ugly.
That one was spicy shit, man.
Did you follow up on that?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, I haven't followed up on that yet. I need to.
Did
I say I was going to? I'm sorry.
No, it did.
No,
I thought because you said
podcast.
Italy was in some spicy shit.
No, I just said they've been on some spicy shit. No. We'll follow up on that.
I'll look it up again, but I know, as far as I know, that the court they're going through the appeal process is an exponentially long process.
Yeah.
I hope that one gets repealed because you can't just say somebody and get raped because they ugly.
Yeah, you can't. Well, she was called the Viking. She wasn't raped.
Yeah,
no one rapes Vikings.
They have to fight the appeal because they have to. So they have a chance to appeal the overturn.
What if they go? Well, she's the Viking, so she must have been the rapist.
That's what I was thinking.
Because that's what the Vikings do.
And she
it's
aggressive.
The same amount of logic.
And the sex was so aggressive that she caused all that vaginal tearing to herself.
That's bad.
That is bad.
I bet you they were calling it Italy's the worst place.
Yeah, Italy is not a very good place if you want justice for that.
Nah.
And the crazy thing about it is the fact that like rape in general is such a touchy subject when it comes because of the fact that consent is such a blurred line.
Yeah.
And that's the biggest problem.
Well, I think it's there's some places that it becomes a blurred line.
Yeah.
There's like very certain instances it becomes a blurred line. Like there was that thing that was going around for so long. There was that thing that was posted. I think it looked like it was one of those things posted out of college or whatever. Those little billboard things where it was like they were both drunk. They had sex. She was raped or whatever. And it's like, what about him? She couldn't consent because she was drunk. It's like, but they're both drunk.
Yeah. Me and a friend of ours was talking about this a while ago. He's in the military. I don't know if he's still in over where I can't remember where he's at right now. But we were talking about it, and we were talking about rape, and we're like, so if both parties are inebriated and have sex, and they wake up and they both regret it, who's the rapist, and he goes, the first one that makes it to the police station. So whoever
The race is on.
Whoever reports it first is the victim.
It'll be like that Saturday morning cartoon, the wacky races or whatever. Snide bastard.
Have my snickering dog.
Yes. That shit. Oh my god.
I missed that show, man.
That was a good show.
But the thing about that is,
Went from rape to the Saturday morning kids cartoon.
But which it should go to, because rape is bad.
Yeah, we just.
Well,
we're
talking about actual cases that things have happened.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
and so for like in that case, and this is one of those things where like I guess the best way to put it is a big feminist movement. The feminist movement started the big thing of consent, and it's in fairness, because there have been cases in where like I'm not going to say men have gotten away with it. I don't think there's been a case where a man has truly gotten away with it, or who has been in a very low income position. Like
I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
Well, wait, you're saying that there's not really a case where a guy got away with it because he's a guy.
Yeah.
That shit doesn't work. Look at the prison statistics or anything else. Men get longer prison sentences. They get harsher sentences. Mm-hmm. They get higher rate of convictions for the same crimes. Harsher sentences for the same crimes.
And they get treated worse by the inmates.
They get treated. Yeah, which to be fair, that's other men. But I mean, the thing is, like, you know, the prison system ain't in favor of men. I'm sorry.
By no means.
Yeah, the legal system.
They make most of their money from us.
Yeah, you don't have any statistics to back you up. I'm sorry. We have the statistics.
But like that was my thing about
the numbers are there.
Yeah, the numbers are there.
I applaud back to where we applaud Tulipon for attempting to do something about the conversation. I applaud them for starting the conversation in such a healthy manner.
Right.
And I look forward to see where they go from here, because I think there's just only good things we can expect from them after this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
I mean, look where we started. We started from
the harpoon.
Nothing.
The harpoon.
The
first attempt. The first attempt to sit here and have this conversation, or some type of preventative. You know, we went from straight up bodily harm to a man's private area.
Why did I imagine like?
Do you know that women in Mexico used to put razors up there?
Oh yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And men that would rape
just
them,
rape themselves too.
They would, but.
Hey, don't rape the girl that's like tiptoeing around. How about that? She's just like, oh, gotta walk carefully.
There was time. No, I'm talking about like they would be in the bathroom, and they knew it was gonna happen, like part of the cartel, and they would stick razors up there,
I see.
and guys would go in there and just get sliced up.
They had it coming.
Yeah, man, it was wild.
That harpoon thing, it sounds a little dangerous for the woman too.
See,
because I can't imagine. I know I have to arrive at the hospital, but I can't imagine a girl being alive whenever I arrive at the hospital. and there's a harpoon in my dick. You put a harpoon in my dick, you dying. That's just how it is.
Maybe a lot of
it was a
time
clamp
window for the woman to get away.
It was a clamp. It's not like a metal spear went in your penis.
No,
it was.
It went inside of you, like it went inside of a woman, like completely smooth, but like the inside of that was just like
basically think of a bear
spikes.
Trap.
Yeah,
basically a bear trap.
Oh, because when you said harpoon, I thought like in the inside it had a picture of like
Dick
fucking
just
like there's a
picture of fucking Poseidon.
No,
I thought that
bow and arrow.
I thought that it attached you to the female, so it was like,
no,
it prevented you from pulling out.
Like it wouldn't the apparatus. You couldn't get the apparatus off. It would come off with a woman, but like
Still, like, she's dying.
Imagine the condom, but on the inside there are spikes.
Yeah.
And the way that the spikes are situated, you couldn't pull it off.
A lot of pain and anger.
I think you're going to be trying to pull it off. I think you'd be spending the time trying to pull it off.
You wouldn't be able to.
No, I know, but
turn me loose! Turn me loose!
No, that's what I'm saying. I think you'll be trying to pull it off, but you won't be able to. But you'll be trying to pull it off, not beating your ass.
I've been like,
I thought we wouldn't get a look into the mind of a rapist by picking your brain.
No, we won't. I'm just talking about like things that those things. Whenever I said those things can be used for revenge or something like that.
No, you're right. There probably was that one
female
who was like.
This is fun.
Next
I'm
time-
gonna take care of this.
And
Next
just,
time I have
he
sex, I'm
cheated
checking.
on me. I'm putting this in there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna show him.
Yeah.
You might have time to run away.
This hurts you more than it hurts me.
You might run away, but you better watch out because I'm gonna find you.
If I was in Africa and I knew that was a thing, I'd be going around with a bag of dildos. And tink! Oh, you
Oh, you almost got me.
Did he even have dildos back then?
or a stick.
No, it wasn't back then. This was
okay.
like
Back then.
maybe
just
five
five
A
years
whole
years
stick of a
ago.
pussy just.
Yeah, it wasn't that long
Yeah,
ago.
You almost got me, bitch. Now I gotta beat your ass.
Snap!
The snatch
I
trap.
knew it was coming.
Now I gotta cut you.
God.
All right, let's move on from this.
Just like sneak into her house one night, she's asleep, just throw a bear trap on her.
That's
Yeah,
what it
ain't so
felt
fun,
like.
is it? Alright, we're moving
What
on.
the fuck was that for? My dick don't work because of you.
My dick hurts!
I told Jojo,
My pee-pee hurt.
I'd looked at it. We had some good times, old friend. I took a knife and the whole stop.
Nah.
Woo.
Y'all better reconstruct this, or at least give me like a fucking robot one or something. Like, come on now.
No, man, I like mine. Mine has been moving for.
We're not going past this.
All right,
Next.
next.
We're approaching dangerous territory.
Flag on the play. Next.
Pause. No homo, Jojo.
Why?
Alright. So we got a Nexium update. It's our first Nexium update.
So Allison Mack
Yeah, that's who it was.
has pleaded guilty to her charges for
All charges?
for they hasn't disclosed all the charges because
Oh,
I'm
okay,
assuming
okay.
there's a deal in. But as far as I'm aware, right as of right now, she has pleaded guilty to most of the charges. As far as we don't know which ones specifically she pleaded guilty to, but she's pleaded guilty. She was recorded saying, "I must take full responsibility for my conduct," and then going around saying like I was lost and that like he helped me and so on and so forth, and she's also pleaded guilty to the fact that she was. So what was crazy about it was Allison Mack. So remember when we were talking about the situation, they had these tiers of masters and slaves.
Yeah.
And Keith Rainier was the top, the highest level of master.
Yeah.
She was right below him. And so she would get blackmail and she would get all these people to join and then coerce them into having sex with him.
So she only had to suck one dude's dick.
Essentially. and so like there's a whole lot of stuff coming out. And the thing that I really hate the most is the fact that she's trying to almost be like, I don't know. She's saying I was in a dark place. He was there for me. He helped me regain my stability and so on and so forth. And
She still did it though.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like there's no excuse for
it's
it.
like
She
she
did.
was under mind control.
Fucking really.
She fucking
Grown ass adult.
Yeah. You made that decision.
Are you familiar with the Xanadu?
Is that next
With the Xanadu.
You'll have to watch
That's
the
what we
podcast.
call it now.
So what happened was Keith Rainier had this company. It was just for anyone that didn't see that,
Yeah,
please check the next.
super quick summary.
Super
'cause
quick summary.
There's a lot more to it.
Nexium, guys, Keith Rainier started this group called Nexium. Inside Nexium was this secret organization, DOS. DOS was an all-women's group that Keith Rainier started in order to get women to go up in Nexium to get whatnot. These women were branded with laser,
They were laser branded.
Land
not
of
like
brazen.
heat branded.
Yeah. So they were these women would hold other women down naked, brand them with his initials. And then they would hold all kinds of blackmail, right? So if they ever disclosed that he was doing this, that he would release the blackmail. The blackmail.
Some people would even sign away their kids.
Yeah, their kids and their homes. Like Rumpelstiltskin. They
What was the benefit to all this?
Well, the benefit he felt
a long
powerful.
story.
It just
No, what was the benefit for the women?
It's
the
a long
women
story.
just check the thing. It's really long.
Trailer.
We did a whole. I did a whole
Link
deep
in
dive
the
on it.
description.
It was like almost an hour. Yeah, I'll put a link in the description for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely worth looking into. It was completely wild,
Yeah.
the whole thing. But
It's
we got
literally
it
the
up there.
first thing in the title. It's our second video, Nexium.
Yeah.
Nexium sex slaves.
Yeah. So like it's It's a big deal. It's so like the fact that and Allison Mack was in Smallville. I don't know if you've seen.
Yeah, no.
Yeah,
she was also in Nexium.
Yeah, she was in Nexium, and some of the charges, just for people that aren't aware, were sex trafficking, intent to sex traffic, forced labor, intent for forced labor, all kinds of stuff like that. It's crazy stuff.
She's guilty. It's basically.
Yeah. I'm just looking to see what kind of time she's going to get and what's going to happen to Keith Raniere.
Mm-hmm. I don't know why you.
Well, hopefully,
saying that. She
Ms.
said
Fox,
that she was guilty.
Hopefully, Miss Fox isn't. Well, she only played guilty to some of them. I was just making sure she's guilty of all of it. But hopefully, Miss Fox isn't in charge of it. She might be like, "Look, let's just give her a couple years. If she ever does it again,
she was in a dark place.
If she's ever in a multinational sex slave ring again, then
when you plead guilty to something like that, and then there's somebody above you that you're pleading guilty, that you take that plea deal, you're walking. You're walking, and they're going. Yeah. They're going in jail. They're sitting down. For a while, yeah.
That's probably kind of what's going to happen.
He's dead. You're talking about Tekashi?
Yeah.
Tekashi 6ix9ine?
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, he's going to get out because he took a plea deal.
Yeah.
And he's going to... Everybody else is going to jail. I don't blame... Everybody gives him a bad rap for doing that, but those were niggas that were trying to kill him.
Yeah.
Why would he stay quiet?
Yeah.
And just be like, I'm going to take this time for these niggas, man. And it was like...
So they can try to kill me while I'm also in jail?
Yeah, it was like, well, we all in jail, they're going to try to kill me? Nah, I'm going to get witness protection for me and my baby, and these niggas going to jail. I'm telling.
I love the Tekashi memes.
Hello, my name is
40 years.
69.
40 years? Man, you had noticed that, Cardi B used to
Oh yeah.
They did the same thing to 21 too.
Yeah.
But,
yeah, 21's for
But yeah, if there's niggas shot, like maybe if they're my friends and stuff like that, and I know that I did what I did, we're just all gonna take our own time. But like if there's niggas that are trying to kill me
and who have committed crimes or are guilty of crimes.
Yeah, and tried to set me up on some of the other crimes. They tried to pin.
Oh hell no!
Use him as a scapegoat for some of the other crimes. I would have just ran trains on my baby mama while I was on tour. I'm telling. Your ass going to jail.
I agree.
I got the best lawyer in here. Y'all ain't get money like me. All right, we went off topic. Let's go.
We're off topic.
Let's go to that.
So our next one, and the last thing for So This Shit Happened is something about Aunt Becky from what you said, Full House.
Oh,
Aunt Becky's going to prison.
So. All right, I don't know if I believe we touched on it at one point in time. Mm-hmm. So everyone knows her as Aunt Becky. I can't remember her actual name. That's all I've always called her.
Whatever she did, she didn't do it. That's Aunt Becky.
But
I never watched that show, so I don't really care.
But there's a school where a bunch of parents were paying, basically giving these donations to the school, quote unquote donations, these charitable donations, and.
I did.
And
we didn't get that.
That's okay.
And what ended up happening is that these donations were just going towards the pockets of other people in the school, and kids were getting let in on scholarships. Like there was one point, the biggest outrage about it was the fact that
I did hear about this.
Yeah, by the way. And the biggest outrage about it is the fact that like her daughter, Aunt Becky specifically, was her daughter got a rowing scholarship. Right? Rowing. Her daughter hasn't rowed a fucking day in her life. All right? And her daughter was quoted on I think it was Instagram. Yeah, quoted on Instagram going, I just came to college for the experience. I ain't even really here to learn nothing.
What the fuck?
You know what I mean? So
she daughter wasn't a rower, wasn't anything. She basically used bribery in her position to get her daughter in on a rowing scholarship.
Didn't they Photoshop her in like photos or videos or something where she wasn't actually
doing
it? They paid some.
Yeah,
that might have been someone else. It might have been a swimmer, but
there was another family. Yeah, there's I can't remember the actor's name, but his daughter. But what's crazy about it? So like you said, position, power, money.
Yeah.
But the problem is she robbed the other child that was gunning for that school, for that rowing scholarship, of that scholarship.
The person who deserved it, in other words.
Yeah. And so, but Aunt Becky, so a lot of the families, I wish I remembered their names. I should have wrote them down. A lot of the families are now getting time. They're serving a minimum of 6 months, a couple months to a year and a half. A couple months to a year and a half of jail time.
Good.
Yeah.
And but the thing is,
that's why all these rich people be getting in trouble. They don't never get no jail time. They need to go to jail.
They are cracking down on, and there's a list.
It's about goddamn
list of There's a lot of actors and actresses.
Trump said something about this too.
Yeah,
about he was like, "Yeah, we're gonna throw these fuckers."
Yeah, there's like a laundry list.
You too, Hillary.
And
please,
ooh.
Yeah,
I'll bring that up in a minute because that might actually be a thing. We'll talk about that later.
Really?
We'll talk about that later.
And then Aunt Becky, the biggest problem with Aunt Becky is that her money, the amount that she had, was so high, and so now it's considered money laundering and racketeering and so on and so forth. She can face up to 20 years minimum.
Ooh,
they're gonna say 20 years or whatever. She gonna end up with probation. She gonna get one of them good lawyers.
Hey, baby steps.
Well, a lot of people do get probation anyways, but at least as long as she just goes to prison at some point.
She gets house arrest.
And for longer than SpongeBob did on Free Balloon Day. Just walk in. But I committed a crime. Yeah, but you're rich. All right, you can go.
But yeah, that is definitely like, I wanted to talk about that just because of the fact that we're getting developments on the case. Actors and actresses are now going to have to serve jail time, and Aunt Becky and her husband are facing some time. And they're just waiting to see what happens.
Yeah.
Not sweet.
So now you reminded me I have an update because they were talking about the Mueller report, and they're talking to Trump and about how he rolled back his rhetoric on Hillary when right after he won, because he won the thing and was like, we owe a great debt to her and all this stuff. Where everyone's like, come on, man, Yeah. Well, someone asked him. They were like, they asked if he still feels that way about the whole, whatever, as opposed to the lock her up thing. Mm-hmm. Like, do you still feel like, she's done a good service for the country? And he just said, no, not really. They're like, or actually, more specifically what it was they asked him, do you still feel like she shouldn't be in jail? That's what they actually asked him. So when he said, no, not really, it's like, oh. Please put her in jail.
That's our sweet, good,
please,
Mr. Donald Trump. Sweet, good Mr. Donald Trump.
Please put her in prison. I will vote for him. I will actually vote for him if he just puts her in prison.
I think a lot of people actually vote for him if he actually puts her in prison.
There will be riots because people will be like, "Oh, this is there's a dictator and all this stuff."
Sexist.
She should actually be in jail.
Yeah, man, the whole organization is fucking corrupt.
People lose their damn minds. Act like.
Can we put the organization up for villain of the month?
Huh?
Can you put the
Clinton Foundation?
Yeah.
The Clinton Foundation? Yeah. Well, that's not a thing anymore, apparently. They stopped because there's so many goddamn scandals with it.
Once she's got out, she's almost essentially out of politics.
I don't know. She was saying she might run in 2020.
Yeah, I know. I'm just saying.
I'm
saying in response to like the Clinton Foundation liquidating.
Well, the thing is, do you remember when the top investigator actually went on live TV and announced that they weren't going to hold her accountable for it?
Yeah, talk up more, but yes, I do remember that.
That shit had me hot.
No, but just think back onto it. Do you remember what he said after he announced that? Mm-hmm. He announced that if anyone pretty much replicated the same exact crime, that there would be nothing withheld. Yeah. He made it straightforward that what happened wasn't okay. Yeah. So there was something obviously behind the scenes that allowed her to get away with that. That was completely out of his power.
He wasn't happy about the fact that he
was extremely angry about it.
It's deep state stuff. He didn't want to get suicided. That's what it was. Yeah. He didn't want to wind up in his hotel room or in his apartment or house or whatever
with a dead hooker. And just
with a horse head,
with a gunshot to the back of the head, and his arms tied, and it get ruled as a suicide.
Yeah. Fucking foundation.
Fucking Hillary.
I hate her. I hate her so fucking.
She needs just put her in prison. Look, even if you're on the left, you should want her in prison.
You're fucking right.
If you're on the left, She fucked you. I don't care how far on the left you are. She fucked you. You should want her in prison.
Like, in my personal opinion, any black people, any self-respecting black person should be fucking livid with her foundation.
It's the same thing with a woman, though.
And women.
If you're a female, you should be insanely angry.
Exactly.
She crucified women that spoke out against Bill.
Yeah.
Crucified.
Laughed
them.
About it, too.
Fucking.
And about rapists.
Yeah.
A fucking pedophile.
She's a fucking monster.
She's like, yeah, we got him off.
Fucking monster. Fuck her.
She had like I don't even. She has no soul. I don't even believe in souls, but she actually has no soul.
You know what, Clay? I don't believe she should go to jail. I just think however long she has to live.
Or firing squad, whatever. I'm fine with that too.
However long she has to live hard labor.
Well, that'll probably last about 5 minutes before she has another seizure and dies. So you saw those seizures, right? Those heat strokes or whatever she was having.
Quote unquote heat strokes.
She was out. Yeah, I know. Whatever the fuck it was, right? But it was. She was out there for. I think it was HW's.
Yeah.
Funeral. And she was just like just fucking. I'm surprised she didn't poop herself. Actually, she might have.
I think she was just super ecstatic that HW was being buried. That's just what.
No, they're all friends. That's the thing.
She has no fucking.
Well, she
friends.
don't have any friends. I'm sorry. He was friends with Bill.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, the one that she had to fucking cover for. Yeah. Multiple. Bill, stop fucking up my career. I'm trying to.
Yeah, hey Bill, stop trying to fuck.
But I can't stop fucking.
I just imagine her on election night or whatever after she lost. She's like, all right, Bill, just get the hooker out of here and let's fucking go.
Like Tyme said, Bill, stop fucking young bitch and let's go.
You and your whores.
But I think she definitely should go to prison. Like, fucking, if anything, Benghazi, for fuck's sakes, guys. Fucking Benghazi. If anything, man, that.
Crimes against the country.
Fucking really. Fucking really. Whatever.
We're off topic. We've talked about Hillary so much. We hate Hillary, if you can't tell.
Here
on the podcast, we condemn Hillary Clinton. Also, none of us are suicidal, so please, keep an eye out.
You disappear. Definitely.
Hopefully she'll be dead before we actually take off. She'll just kind of, go
if she dies
go quietly into that good night.
If she dies before Bill's gonna die from Viagra.
Bill's gonna be like, I'm free. That's what he's gonna do. He's like, I'm just gonna go have sex for 8 hours straight and then drop dead.
Yeah.
Bill's gonna put his dick through 7 bitches.
You just gonna see Bill Clinton roll up to a college with a tear in his eye. Finally.
Or what may happen is the police may finally come and get him.
Oh yeah, that's right. You don't have a lawyer to get you off anymore.
All right, she's dead now. The bodyguard ain't here.
That's why I believe the whole organization was run by Hillary. Like, fucking sakes, that has been one of the strongest Democratic organizations.
This is all to protect Bill.
No, did we know for a fact it was run by Hillary? Because of the emails.
That's very true.
And Wasserman Schultz. We know Wasserman Schultz was the DNC chair, or the Democratic National Committee chair. Yeah. Right? She was the head of the DNC. And then they were just emailing back and forth. But her and Hillary just emailing back and forth, talking about how best they could fuck over Bernie Sanders and anyone else. Right?
Yeah.
That's very conspired.
True. That's very. Quick thing about WikiLeaks. Just a sideline.
Oh yeah.
I forgot to say something about this.
Assange's.
Yeah, Assange. Yeah. So did you figure out how it happened?
I was So he. Because when I found out, I was like, "Oh no! Like, what the hell? What they get him on? Why did Ecuador? Like, what kind of pressure they put on Ecuador? Apparently, he just went stir crazy.
No, so Ecuador. He's been in Ecuador for 3 years.
No, he's been in London in the Ecuadorian embassy. He couldn't leave the embassy.
Yes.
So he was for 7 years he was there.
Yeah.
And so you gotta think, if you can't leave a place for 7 years, you're gonna be walking around seeing bloody Indians in the corner. Let's say The Shining. No, you're gonna go fucking crazy. Right?
Ecuador has actually released they told him he needed to clean the bathroom.
Yes.
And take better care of his cat.
Yeah.
And he sued them for that.
Yeah, he sued them.
Don't you tell me how to live my motherfucking life.
He didn't just sue them. He sued them and smeared shit on the wall.
Yeah.
Show these fuckheads. It's my cat. And that right, Snookums.
And the president of Ecuador was like, hey, y'all can come get him now.
He's
UK police.
You know what?
This is not justice.
You know what?
Wherever
Fuck
he's
this.
going, whatever time he's facing, he definitely should get that minimum 5 years for sure. Minimum 5 years, general jackassery.
Well, the funny thing is now he's being brought up on charges in the U.S. for
helping the hack. He's related to the Chelsea Manning case.
Yes.
For hacking a government computer or something.
Yes,
like that.
and he's getting charged for releasing secret information.
Yeah,
and which is very minimum in like time sentence.
And it should be, but also the information he released was the U.S. Army committing war crimes.
Yeah.
So if anyone should be getting in trouble, I'm pretty sure it's the U.S. military.
But
that's not going to happen because who's going to tell them what the fuck to do?
Exactly.
Because in the Navy.
Yeah. What's your budget to get $640 billion a year? Yeah, we ain't got fucking chance. I'm sorry.
There's no other country that puts that much money in the military.
No, there's not. We spend more on our military than Russia, and actually, we spend more on our military than the next 14 biggest militaries on Earth combined. So we're in first, and then if you add up the budgets of all of 2nd through 15th place, ours is bigger.
You want to know the funny thing is
we don't make nothing. So like. Our guns gotta be good. You come to collect your debt. What debt?
That's what I said. That's what I said earlier. Like if I was gonna be president, right? Everyone would hate me, but it would fix everything. So I'd be a dictator for 5 days and then quit. The first thing I'd do is like go to all the other countries, just like point all the nukes at these guys, and then I just phone them, right? Yeah, what debt? All right, that's what I thought. And then,
you know the funny thing?
The difference between me and you is I'd actually just use them.
They got
because
nukes.
they
Some
have
of them got
resources
nukes too.
and nukes of their
Some of
own.
them got nukes too. Also, you're just blowing up your own factories.
Yeah.
That's our factory. Remember, it's like
I don't care. I just
it's like getting
war for
mad and
no
tearing up
reason.
your.
That's just what I do.
I think that's how you
Remind me to
do it.
never vote for you for anything.
Just blow shit up because I felt like it. I might have been irritated that day. Food didn't taste as good as I thought it would.
That's a very. Go ahead.
I just call up Japan. Y'all still want to fuck with us?
They're our allies.
They don't have a military.
Yeah.
They're not allowed to have a military.
We're their military.
Yeah. They fucked up so bad in World War II that they were the only country that wasn't allowed to. Germany has a military.
Yeah, man.
Japan was the only one that wasn't allowed to have a military.
Because we
finish
know
making
why?
those mechs.
You know what?
I'm blow this shit up. Y'all better finish making those mechs.
It's because Japan fucked up that hard.
Yeah.
Who
That
commits a
gun-
To
war?
get nuked
That
twice?
Japan
is
committed
secret weapon.
Japan committed
Fucking
a.
Condom.
Oh yeah.
No,
Japan
it's
committed a war
secret
atrocity.
militaries.
They committed a war crime that was so bad that a fucking Nazi stepped in and was like, "Hey, y'all cut this out."
You also have to
raping-
remember,
rape
Japan
of
was like
Nanking.
their.
And you know the funny, he actually came out and was like, we're not for this. Hitler even came out and was like, that had nothing. He distanced himself from that act when they bombed Pearl Harbor. Hitler even came out. No, that wasn't.
No, he had to stand up with them, but he was kind of like, "Oh shit." But they had already signed a pact though that it was like, and he did want them to drag the U.S. into the war.
Yeah, that was their original goal.
Yeah.
Because you have to remember, U.S. when Winston Churchill originally asked for help, we said no.
He wanted them to drag because I've studied. I know so much about fucking World War II. His plan was to have Japan attack the U.S. so they get sucked into a war with Japan. So his plan was for us to go fight Japan while he finished off Europe
And
or
whoever
whatever.
picks on Japan, they would protect.
But what happened eventually? But he just wanted them to get bogged down with Japan while
And
he could
they
finish off
didn't
that.
know we had two.
Well,
Two?
what happened we had already agreed to have a Germany first policy should we enter the war. So when we entered the war, we were like, all right, we'll cede this territory and all these islands or whatever, and then go whoop Germany's ass. And Japan knew too, even as they were taking islands, they're like, if we don't knock them out of the war completely, we're fucked. And that's exactly what happened.
It's also because of the fact Germany also split their military too thin when especially
Yeah, they tried to invade Russia.
They split that shit way too thin.
Yeah.
Especially during the winter. That no sense.
Yeah.
And you know the crazy thing. This is one of my favorite things about World War II because I did some deep research, especially with Russia, is that Scorched earth is such a strong policy that it still worked in times where automatic weapons were a real thing.
Yeah, and tanks.
And tanks.
And airplanes.
If for those who don't know what scorched earth is that they burned everything down in sight, so they had no resources to work with.
The Russians did.
The Russians
burn
were.
your own land as you retreat, and so it gives the invading army nothing to work. They basically have to walk through a wasteland
And starve and die.
Yeah, just a continuous wasteland. It's a tactic as old as time. Like the Romans did that to Hannibal.
Yeah. And
2,000 years prior.
That's why I say it's wild that it actually
works.
how effective it was during that time period.
Yeah, it's actually the other thing too is actually what the Russians did was when the Germans invaded, they literally the first thing they did is they packed up all of their factory shit onto trains and shipped it out to Siberia.
Yeah.
To the other side of Russia. They're like, get this out of here. You can't have it.
And they were like,
that's mine.
Those trains were running like 24 hours for like weeks.
Yeah.
Weeks.
Just round the clock.
That conductor got paid good.
You can't fuck my shit. I'ma fuck my shit before you.
That was the definition of no one makes me bleed my own blood.
Yeah.
But
we're so off topic.
Just move forward.
We just did so many tangents.
But that's one of the topics that we were talking about earlier.
Yeah,
we forgot to mention that we were going to talk about.
So all right, we're moving on. We're moving on.
The niggas that gave you asylum.
I also don't think that he should be arrested for information that he dug up as a journalist.
Yeah, because it was on war crimes. Yeah, he should be protected. So we'll see.
We'll see what happens.
We'll see. Hopefully Trump will pardon him. I don't think it's going to happen.
Nah.
But it would be
There's
nice.
Pictures of helicopters gunning down villages.
Yeah. Oh, I know. Yeah. The U.S. Army did horrible things.
Yeah, man, we were not playing
some
games.
horrible fucking things.
Just bullies.
Yeah.
So that's what we are.
You just showed the world we ain't playing no game.
If
I'm
you
not
guys
saying that
didn't
all
know,
the Army did it. It's just there were some bad actors. The problem is that there were bad actors, and then there was a cover-up rather than bringing them to justice. That's what should have happened. There should have been like court-martials and all that shit. But
if you guys have realized that, if you look at the list, like Clay was saying about the list of like other militaries that are funded but that don't equate to ours. If you look at the list alphabetically, it says y'all can't fuck with us. It's because America will fuck
another fun fact.
We don't play no games. Ask anybody in that village or people in Japan.
Well, you can't because they're
dead.
dead.
2 nukes.
Someone said
Just start growing grass
no
not too long ago.
games.
So I saw it. It was like it was Thanos or no, it was the scene from Avengers where it's Thor. He throws the axe, but it says Pearl Harbor on it. It hits Thanos.
Oh yeah.
And it says like you should have aimed for the head. And then he holds up his gauntlet. It says
atomic bomb.
Pow! Dusted. Oh yeah, Jojo shared that. That's where that came
I did.
From. You shared that.
I share a lot of shit.
You shared that.
I remember seeing that.
They actually did get dusted though.
Yeah, man.
Like, quite literally dusted. Yeah. Like turned into
after the
dust.
first one, I would have sent the nigga swimming to apologize.
There
It was 2 weeks until the second one hit.
Yeah.
Boom! What the fuck was that? Hey, you, who's our strongest swimmer? You go the fuck over there.
Tell them we're goddamn sorry.
Sliding gravel.
You get over there. You repeat after me. I am so sorry. I'm so goddamn sorry. God damn it, I'm so sorry.
I would have tried to send. Morse code in all caps. We surrender.
Just make that beep really hard.
Beep 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 beep. I would have crashed planes into the water in Morse code to tell them we were sorry.
I wish memes were a thing back then, because I would have sent the meme to America. That shit hurt it.
There are actually silhouettes on the ground.
Just get Scott.
Yeah, still.
Silhouettes that were burned
And they're
into
just
the ground.
not growing grass, right?
In some areas. At the very edge.
There's like human-shaped silhouettes on the building. You know, like Wile E. Coyote or whatever, that kind of stuff. There are places in Japan where there's people-shaped silhouettes on the ground.
Yeah.
Crawl
dead
out,
serious.
Yeah,
crawl out,
seriously.
baby.
I'll pull up a picture. just to see how this-
We are so serious.
Xanadu was looking at me like, "What are you talking about?"
Yeah, it is.
No,
It's very
I'm
ominous.
astounded. No,
It's
no.
very ominous.
I don't doubt it. I'm just. Oh my god.
Yeah, like they
That's wild.
they dusted.
Yeah.
Look, there's this cane and everything. That one's kind of sad.
And
Cat.
It's a
is.
cat. It's a dead cat.
I love how like the person with the cane is not as
Dusted.
sad as the fucking cat.
Dusted.
Oh.
It's wild, man.
There's even there's a silhouette of a goddamn bicycle.
Yeah.
It dusted the bicycle.
You know the only thing that was standing up in the city? There was a Nokia.
Was that thing made of Nokia's?
The Nokia.
That one
There
thing.
was actually a structure made by the company Nokia, and it was still standing. Well, I mean, phones are good.
I mean, shit happens, you know. And like people used to think it was such like a horrible thing, but like if you actually look at go look at World War II history, because Japan's 100% playing the victim on this.
100%.
If you actually look at the history of World War II, we dropped leaflets in all these cities explaining what the atomic bomb was, that we were in possession of it, and that we were going to drop it on them.
We'll do it. That's all our bombs are
Yeah,
from.
it's
We
like-
will do it.
When has anyone ever warned someone of a bombing raid?
Yeah.
Bro?
Nobody.
Wait, we're going to bomb
I
you?
wouldn't.
I would have said sorry as soon as that happened. Just playing fist. Just, hey, get the U.S. on the phone.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Hey, you know what? I changed my mind. it
It's
just
like,
we're
hey,
gonna
do
put
we
possession
have
of a
any
bomb.
skywriters? Just have,
Someone learning English and
Please.
skywriting.
please.
His mom does
cut
what
this
now?
out.
You're just reading the pamphlet.
Like, if
Oh,
if
geez.
you guys really want to think, let's think about it like
We're
this.
so off topic.
We didn't bomb Germany. We bombed Japan. How much more shit could Japan have done for us to fucking bomb them instead of
They
Germany?
they also had trained all of their citizens. They like mandatory training, whatever. They were just like ultra. It was like religious zealots. It was like fighting the Covenant for
Yeah.
Halo or something.
Yeah.
Like they had trained all of their citizens to like kill Americans and stuff like that. So if we were gonna invade, it would have been a fight to like literally. There was a guy.
Everyone was considered.
There was a quote that was in Japan right before the bombs. There were no non-combatants, and
Yeah.
aside from babies, I think that's probably true. Anyways, let's move on.
In short, America was nice.
Yeah,
No.
sort of.
We warned them.
We're nice to ourselves.
I think the second one was uncalled for.
We did the right thing.
They wouldn't give up.
That's fair.
They didn't give up. Look, how many times I gotta teach you
The
this
first-
lesson, old man?
That island is
The
small.
first-
You can't just eradicate two cities.
That's like that. The history of the world. It's like cities that exist, and Nagasaki. It says Nagasaki,
After the
Hiroshima,
first
and
bomb,
some
we
others.
sent. After the first bomb, we sent in Morse code. Say uncle.
All right, next.
All right, we're moving on. We're moving on to street tweets. God damn it, we're like an hour in.
What's on the streets?
So I got a new thing. It's a new meme. It's going around. It's the clown world meme. Okay. Now this is not clowns like scary clowns. Okay. So there's no reason to panic or anything like that. This is like it's a Pepe meme, a fucking Pepe meme with a clown wig and a red nose. Now the reason it's significant is that this is another one of those 4chan troll operations. So y'all know how the OK symbol is allegedly a symbol of white
my
supremacy,
God.
right?
Yeah.
That thing, remember?
Yeah.
Yeah. And so that was so successful of a troll that Blizzard has banned the OK symbol from their conferences. There was some dude that threw up the OK symbol. Clearly he was doing the punch, the don't look game, whatever. You do this, you
Yeah,
get punched. Yeah. Clearly was doing that, right?
Yo,
But
this
yeah, it was like, that or whatever. But he threw that up, and then someone was like, I can't believe, Blizzard would allow these white supremacists to whatever, right? And so like, all right, that's it. No more OK symbol. And then after they banned it, right? Are you waiting?
Yeah,
Oh, okay. After they banned it, and they also took it out, it was like Zenyatta's emote or whatever. Gone.
When he was like this,
Yeah,
I saw
gone.
it. I remember.
Yeah,
Really?
that's why. Yeah.
Zenyatta had an OK MO where he would do this and wave.
Yeah, gone.
Wait,
Man,
that
fuck
again?
them niggas.
He would go OK and wave. So he
Is that-
hold
is
up the OK sign
Mhm.
and wave at you. That was his emote. That was one of his emotes. He was just saying everything's okay, and he wave at you.
Yeah, it was an emote in
It was
Overwatch.
a game. Overwatch, yeah. Overwatch.
No,
she
I
knows-
remember the
yeah.
character.
Yeah, so they removed that because they were convinced that it was a. So the point is that it was a very successful troll.
Yeah.
Well, 4chan had another idea. All right, they were like, I can't believe this actually worked. Let's take something more important to them from them. All right.
Oh God. I
They were
remember
like,
this.
let's take the LGBT flag.
And they put
And
it
so
on
they-
Pepe.
They put it on Pepe's head as the color of his hair. His hair is the LGBT rainbow. Okay. and
And he's known as Honk Honk.
Honkler.
Honk is
Honkler.
wild.
And so they were like, we're going to do this. We're going to convince them that this is an alt-right meme or whatever. And so this just wave of people went and started posting all this stuff. Like all these like they'll post stuff that's like that you would think was like racial subtext or whatever, but it's not. They're just trolling. But they'll put like there was one I saw. It was like 13% of honklers commit 52% of the honks.
That is golden.
Like shit like that, right? It was like do not go gently into that no, do not go quietly into that gentle night. Honk honk at the dying of the light. Like that kind of shit, right?
This is wild.
Well, they're falling for it. The right wing watch. Sorry, turned fucking Japanese there for a second. The right wing watch has put up a thing saying that it's an alt-right meme and that it's white supremacy and all this stuff. And they're saying, but they didn't just say like, oh, they didn't explain it necessarily. They just said like, clowns are racist. So now clowns are racist, in case y'all didn't know.
First they're serial
Well, no
killers,
wonder
now they're
Deadpool
racist.
hates
Clowns don't
clowns.
have a hard enough time as it is. We gotta make them racist.
Well,
wasn't-
there's
it
a
was
lot
like-
of... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, it was just like a year ago when they were serial killers.
Yeah. Now they're racist serial killers.
Well, Blizzard is notorious for doing stuff like that. Like even Twitch chat memes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
They banned those from the stream of like.
Because Pepe was on there.
Yeah. They banned a couple of those saying that they were racist or they didn't represent what Blizzard stood for. They banned cursing in their chat and stuff like that. And if your account is linked to your Blizzard, your Overwatch League thing, they made it to where your account could possibly get banned if you're caught doing any of those things.
This is why I don't play Blizzard games anymore. I used to play World of Warcraft like way
I don't
back.
know, man. I still love
I would never
Overwatch,
go back.
and that's
Yeah,
only
me
because
too.
of May. If May was in the game, I would
yeah,
play.
May's bad.
Yeah, but
May
like,
and Tracer.
yeah, but
May
if
is
you,
the best.
and it was the crazy thing is that
Ice
like,
Wall coming up.
yeah, I really enjoy the game.
Tracer still calls people tossers.
I remember when they...
Really?
Yeah,
Well, remember...
because she's gay.
No, what did you hear about Soldier 76?
He's gay.
He's
Yeah,
gay
he's
too,
gay.
and a lot of people are pissed about that.
Yeah, because they made the father. So what's so upsetting about it that for the Blizzard community is that so they add story to the character, but the community themselves added like their own like personality to it. Like Soldier 76 had his own character, but he had no relevance to Diva, which was a whole nother character.
Mm-hmm.
So what the community did, they made Diva seem like the child, and Soldier 76 is the father figure. So what they ended up doing was the community was so strong in this and influenced it so much that they even started making costumes for Soldier 76 that related to a father figure, like the Grill Master 76.
Yeah.
So what people are having issue with is that we have this strong father figure in Overwatch and they made him gay.
Yeah.
And so what their problem is they're feminizing the father figure. And so that's what people are having issue with Soldier 76 being gay.
There are gay relationships where like one dude's clearly
The-
man
yeah,
of
yeah,
the relationship.
that's
Like,
how.
so it's not like you can't be gay and be a father figure.
I agree.
To be fair.
I agree.
To be fair,
To be fair. But I agree that, they shouldn't have there shouldn't be no qualms to it. Like realistic, just let it go. But that's really what
It's a fictional character, but I do understand people changing a fictional character. What confuses me is it's like at what point does their sexuality come up in their backstory? Like, is it actually that deep? Because I don't play the game.
The game, they actually
is it actually that detailed? Where
they actually have real backstory.
Did they set up Tracer with Soldier 76 too? Like before they found out Tracer was gay. Wasn't that the main pairing with Soldier 76 and Tracer?
The main pairing, if I remember correctly, was it was. It was 76 and Tracer.
Oh.
Yeah. But then when they found out Tracer was gay, and then Tracer, they recently, I think this year it's during the winter event. During the winter event, they introduced the Tracer's girlfriend.
That was shortly after they announced that she was a lesbian. They actually showed what her girlfriend
looked like.
Yeah.
So on and so forth. But no one's upset about that and everything.
No.
I
think it died down once they released the girlfriend.
Yes. It is what it is. It's people being outraged over nothing. And
it happens every day.
But the story is really good. The story, if you were just a good, like, wanted to watch a good story or read a good book or like a series, Overwatch stories are really detailed.
Yeah.
Now, beyond the fact that, like, it's a game, if you just wanted to read something, they're really good. They're really good.
Okay.
It just goes back to what you were saying. Like, there wasn't really any backstory on the characters until recently. So people just generalized or made their own.
Yeah.
And they just went with it.
Kind of like what happened in Pokemon Go, I guess, where like there was no backstory really, and people just kind of went with their own stuff.
But I feel like people like. I feel like the
creators
of
Team Instinct.
Did they have a little bit of stuff? Or?
Yeah,
they did.
Oh, okay.
They did, but
never mind.
It went against everything they initially went with.
Yeah, I guess the basic gist when it first came out was that there's this group of people. They were like the heroes. It's the best way to equate it is like the Incredibles. The pre, if this Overwatch as it is now is post Incredibles, where post the superhero ban. So the Incredible pre superhero ban is Overwatch, right? After Overwatch in the organization failed as a society, it's post the superhero ban. That's the best way to put it. Okay. So that's just the easiest way to do it. If superheroes were Overwatch and posted.
I got a really good example. It's like Mary Jane and Spider-Man. Everyone knows Mary Jane and Spider-Man until recently Gwen Stacy. Remember how a lot of people didn't like Gwen Stacy until she had her own story? It's the same thing. It was Tracer and 76, but then suddenly it's Tracer and Gwen Stacy. A lot of people were.
So she and 76 were actually officially.
No, they weren't officially. People were writing it.
So that's kind of.
They were making their own story about these characters.
They were getting pissed off that Blizzard was giving a story to the characters that the community didn't write.
I see.
That's the best way to put it. I'm mad you guys gave a backstory to your characters after I've already worked so hard on it.
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't pitch my
It's their character to give whatever backstory they want.
Yeah, essentially. But
yeah.
Beyond that,
this
Pepe the Frog meme, I love Pepe. Pepe's forever going to be a meme, and I don't think he's ever going to
Now, the thing with the meme is that it does have some meaning to it. So the whole point of the clown world thing is that things are so absurd now in this world that it's basically a clown world. Like, everything's upside down, everything's backwards. Like, for example, there's all these Islamic grooming gangs over in the UK, which is where they find like a white girl or a Sikh girl or a black girl, whatever, some non-Muslim girl, right, who's like 10 years old, and they groom her until she's like 12 or 13, and then they rape her.
Clay.
What?
Yes.
Wait.
Y'all haven't heard about the Rotherham rape scandal and all this stuff that happened in the UK?
Yeah. So
I'm not joking. But the reason I'm saying this is so all that happens, right? The police don't do anything about it because they're afraid of being called racist.
Yeah.
Clay, when
congratulations,
you said
clown world.
Groomer,
We live in clown world.
When you said that, just grooming. The name, grooming gang. I thought this was a bunch of niggas going around with brushes and combs.
That's kind of
and jumping somebody, but making their hair look nice.
Nah. They were grooming him as in getting them hooked on drugs. At that age,
they were even drugs. It got to so bad that they were doing online too. Yeah. There was a whole incident where this girl.
It's literally a pedophile. Right?
Yeah, this girl left the UK, went to join ISIS. Right, ISIS crumbles. And now she wants to come back to the UK, and the UK banned her visa.
Oh yeah, that's
revoked her visa, or revoked her, revoked her citizenship.
Yeah,
that's what it was.
Yeah. But there's a challenge to it because apparently under EU law or under the Universal Human Rights, under the Universal Human Rights thing, you can't leave someone stateless. You can't just revoke their citizenship.
Correct.
So this lady committed high treason.
Yep.
And Britain's not allowed to revoke her citizenship.
I also think that's why the reason the UK is trying to
just still throw her in jail. She committed high treason.
I mean, they will, but it's just like it would be better to just be like, nah.
Exile.
And instead of putting her in prison where they gotta feed her and stuff, nah, bitch, stay in that war-torn hellhole that you were so happy to go to.
Yeah.
Go over there and just suffer.
And what pisses me off about it was that she basically told them that you have to take me back. That like the whole thing. She wasn't even begged. She was like,
but she's already in the country that she committed the crime in. Correct?
She's over in the Middle East.
But she committed her crimes, right?
Yeah, when she
wasn't against the UK. It was in the country that she's
when you join ISIS, that's high treason against your country. That's a terrorist group against your country.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Because they committed terrorist acts in their country.
Right.
Yeah,
correct.
That's why.
Yeah. So
wouldn't that country over there be her country now?
No, because she doesn't have citizenship.
It was ISIS. It was the Islamic Caliphate, which wasn't like an established country within kind of like citizenship and this and that. And
they don't have a seat in the government in order to give citizenship.
They don't have a government.
Yeah, exactly. Essentially,
it's basically the Islamic State is a failed state at this point.
She essentially ran to the wilderness and demanded to be taken back.
Yeah, in a civilization, but she couldn't make a fire.
I don't like it here.
Yeah, exactly.
After she's already given birth to ISIS, she got raped and gave birth, as far as I know, 2 kids. And and then one of the kids was being trained to be an ISIS fighter, and they're like, yeah, we don't want you back.
Well, there's a certain time period where I don't know what it is for Europe. Too. Don't get me wrong. But there's a certain time period where you're out of the United States to say you're living in another country. I think it's like 3 years. After that 3-year mark, your citizenship is revoked. You can't come back. You have to reapply.
But that's under the fact that if you're still part of the union, where you can't, like you said, you can't be without a citizen.
That's without you taking citizenship from the country that you're currently living in.
Correct.
Say you left America to live in, China.
Yeah.
So if you're not applying to become a citizen...
Sorry, we lost the mic. Let me fix our microphone. Sorry, everyone. I don't know.
It looks like it's working.
Yeah, it's working now. It was ours. Go ahead. So go back to what you're saying. Yeah. I don't know when it died.
Oh, damn.
Start all over.
Fuck, I don't remember where I was at. Anyway, let's say you're in China and you don't apply for citizenship there, but you're still technically a citizen of America. Within a certain time frame, your citizenship is revoked. Regardless if you are a natural-born citizen, you have to reapply to be let back into the country. Yeah. No.
But that's still, like I said, that still falls under the guidelines. They can't revoke your citizenship because of the fact you have no other citizenship.
Yeah. It's the UN Human Rights
No, I understand that, but if she has been out long enough to have 2 children and they're being trained by ISIS, she's been out long enough to where they don't have to let her back in.
They don't have to let her back in, but they can't revoke her citizenship.
Yeah, that's what it
is. That's the argument. It's the whether that she is allowed to cross.
But if she's got no, because if she's got citizenship, she's allowed back in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like they're not. What she's trying to do is she's trying to get them to pay for her to come back in, essentially. So when you get extradited from another country back to your home country, usually your home country pays for you to get extradited back, right? So essentially, what's happening?
Oh, so that was her scheme.
Yeah, her scheme.
To pay for
because
travel.
They weren't able to. She can't.
She's destitute.
Yeah. So there's no way for her to make it back to the UK. So she's trying to get the UK to extradite her back, and they're like, "Yeah, well, no, fuck that."
So here's what I'd do. I'd be like, "Sure, we'll do it," and then they would just get lost in the bureaucracy.
She can sit in limbo, but if she's been out for a certain number of years without actually re-entering in.
she can't still get. You can't revoke citizenship without citizenship.
I know. I understand we're talking about citizenship, but you're saying that she said that they have to take her back. They have to allow her back in. I'm beyond citizenship at this point. I'm saying they don't have to let her back in because she's been out for a certain number of years.
No, they still have to. If she makes it, if she for somehow walked and swam back to the UK. She has the right. She has the right to be there. They cannot. They can't be at the edge of the water. They can't be at the edge of the water and push her back in and be like, nah. Go swim back elsewhere. Like,
great job swimming. Now swim back.
Do it again.
Yeah.
What they need to do, since she wants them to pay for her travel back, they should definitely pay for her travel back. What they need to do is buy her one of those inflatable rafts and tell her to come back.
Good luck.
Good luck. Inflatable raft and a coconut.
We're funding it. Wilson.
Volleyball?
It was
a volleyball. My bad.
Anyways, that's the whole point of the clown world meme is that it's just like nihilistic, kind of like it's like if you can't. What was one of the quotes was like, "You laugh because if you didn't, you'd cry."
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
The world's that fucked up.
Mad world.
Yeah, it's about mad world. So it's a clown world we live in. All right, so we're gonna scoot on to the next topic. There was another thing where a Pride festival was shut down by a far left group. I don't remember. I think it was BLM, but it was shut down by a far left group. This was in Edmonton, California. They had like a whole week. It was like 8 days. Okay. It was shut down because the far left group did not want the police there.
Fuck 12.
I understand because I don't like the police either, but they are supposed to be there to keep the peace and protect you.
Yeah, that's one thing.
They're Canadian police. These aren't American police.
That's also
These are Canadian police.
Don't they just got clothes?
Well, the Canadian police.
I'm pretty sure.
More white people should
y'all
be
ain't seen Dudley Do Right? Did y'all not watch Dudley Do Right? Is that what happened?
Or Super Trooper 2.
Yeah.
Super
that
Trooper 2
is oh my god.
But yeah, it's my
fucking bear.
my personal opinion about it, and this is just how I feel about it in general, is that the police have such a negative light on them. I'm not going to say unjustly. They're not saying it's unjust, but they have such a negative light on them, and people are crucifying the police themselves as opposed to crucifying the system.
Yeah.
And that's really what's failing people is the system. And I do agree in the terms of that, like, it's hard to say because I'm trying to be very tactful in how I approach this. Because
you are in a room with people who hate the police.
Yeah.
Not me. I like the police.
Sorry, 3 out of 5.
Yeah.
Get out.
We got our 3/5 compromise.
Yeah,
maybe we can come to a 3/5 compromise, Will.
But this is how I feel about it. Them, and this is going kind of off topic about it, and just in general how their appeal towards police. I don't think the police are the problem. That's my opinion. Okay. So, in order for you to say "fuck the police," in my opinion, you're addressing an issue that is you're addressing not the source of the problem, but you're addressing it's not the symptom.
We're also addressing part of the problem because for the police, there are a lot of cases in which that I've seen that the police take advantage of the system because they know they can get away with it.
Fair.
Which means...
now, but I
think, because I don't know what he's saying, we talked about it earlier, like, the police protect the rich and protect themselves.
Yes.
Right? That's the people they care the most about, right?
Blue and green.
Yeah, blue and green, exactly. Blue and green. So, like, there's...
The system.
The system itself is set up to where they're not supposed to be able to do that, right? I would argue that the system's actually set up pretty well.
Yes,
but there's corrupt people in it.
In high,
maybe certain parts aren't, but I mean,
the system on paper is set up. On paper is written really well, and it's supposed to be a series of checks and balances.
Because there's supposed to be checks and balances, but in practice, there are no checks and balances. So a cop does something, which to me, at least, is the individual's fault. is it's individuals in this system that are taking advantage of the system they're taking advantage of what would have otherwise been a somewhat fair system because they know that the people in that system will completely ignore the way they're supposed to be set up in order to protect their own. They'll for example, I have served on a grand jury now. Mm-hmm. I will not disclose what cases we had because I'm actually legally not allowed to, but I don't understand how you don't indict someone. I actually don't understand. For those that don't know, there's like 32 people on a grand jury. When you on a petit jury for a trial jury, when you're deciding someone's guilt, it's 12 and you got to be unanimous, right?
Correct.
Okay. On a grand jury, when you're deciding whether or not to indict, first of all, the standard for a grand jury for indictments, which is where you decide whether or not you're going to take someone to court for the actual trial, the standard for indictments is probable cause, not beyond reasonable doubt, just probable cause, which could literally just mean like, well, you were kind of near the area and you said there was a text message or something like that. Like, that's probable cause, right?
Yeah.
All right. Usually, before they even take a case before the grand jury, they'll have it ready for trial before they go before a grand jury.
Yeah.
Okay? Because unless the statute of limitations is going to expire, they'll just hold the person on bond or whatever else, right? So they take the time, they get their cases ready. So that's the first thing. The second thing is there's like 32 people, right? Of those 32, you only need 14 people to vote yes. That is not a majority.
No, it's not.
And you don't even actually need the 32. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You don't even actually need all 32 people to be present. You just need at least like 18. And of those 18, at any point, it's just 14 people have to vote. Yes. Doesn't matter how many people are actually there. You just need 14 yeses. That's it. Okay? For the grand jury hearings, the only people that are there are the prosecutors and any witnesses that they so choose. But it's the prosecuting attorney and the detective in charge of the case. Those are the people that present to the grand jury. That's it. So you have a one-sided presentation, all right? The group, only less than half of them have to vote yes, okay? And they've already spent all this time preparing the case anyways.
Yeah.
It is a miracle that any policeman could ever not be indicted for a crime.
I agree.
Take them to trial. Take them to trial. It's ridiculous that police never end up in trial. They should be on trial.
So then
they get protections that the average citizen is not afforded.
So then the question is, what point in time did it go wrong?
I don't know. I don't know what time.
Yeah,
but I get that's kind of irrelevant. As
it's
to like
also
what I'm
when they
about.
use this scare tactic, like a bunch of like, if we start sending policemen to jail for doing things corruptly or like making a judgment call that was
they'll
incorrect,
be killed in jail because they were police.
No, not that. Not even that. It's that other policemen will be scared to do their job whenever they're out in the field. Well, they should be scared to do something that's incorrect. Whenever you hold your life and other people's lives in your hand, you should be scared to make an incorrect judgment call. You should be scared because anytime you're doing something that is unlawful, that you should be scared to be held accountable for the consequences.
So my thing is this, and this is just what police like. So I'm assuming no one here knows like the actual what they go through, the steps and training and so on and so forth.
No,
I'm familiar with some of it. Actually.
Yeah. So in that case, judgment call is such a gray area, especially in the handbooks. The judgment call is such a gray area. I'm not justifying them making bad calls. By no means am I saying that. But what I'm saying is that split moment decisions and where your life and someone else's life is in hand cost someone's life. Someone's going to live or die.
I understand. So I'm not even. So I just want to clarify right now. I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about stuff where, like, let's say, I don't know. I'll just make one up. How about that? Let's say some dude was running away and the cops just gun him down. And the dude had not presented any issue anything to indicate that he would be a threat to himself or others or the police, and he tries to run from the cops and they gun him down in cold blood. Defend that.
The 100%.
And then the cop doesn't get indicted. So there's no defense for that.
I'm not defending the bad cops because the majority isn't the bad cops.
But what I'm saying,
and what is the problem is that people are speaking on the minority as the majority.
I know that the minority are bad cops. I know that the majority of cops are good. My issue is that the majority of cops protect the minority of bad cops. They protect them. They will go to bat for horrible people. And then they have the nerve to come on like social media and be like, no, I'm not in favor of bad cops. But you protect them.
You know,
and so
yeah,
that's also the assumption that so if a good cop protects a bad cop, that doesn't justify him being a good cop.
What do you mean? I didn't follow
what you're saying is that the good cops go to bat for the bad cops, and that's your problem.
Yeah,
and I'm saying
with the good cops.
Yeah, so if a good cop bats for the bad cop, they're not a good cop.
They're good in the way that they perform. Okay, let's specify this. Clarify the terminology. So they're good in the way that they perform their job, or at least not corrupt, or they're at least not bad in the way that they perform their job. At least not malicious, right?
Okay.
But then they will go to bat for the bad. Going to bat for a cop is not part of your job description. So that doesn't make them a bad cop. It makes them a bad person.
So then, let's put it like this: 9 times out of 10, when a good cop goes to bat for another cop, is based on character witness.
Okay.
So if John Doe goes and kills an individual, his family can write a character witness statement.
Okay, but when it's all on film.
Yeah,
It's all on film. I don't care about your character witness when everything's on film.
That's what I'm saying.
I know film can be misleading. I know it can do, but I'm saying when like the whole thing, because there have been some really, really clear-cut cases, and that was what changed my mind. Is I used to be on like, well, most cops suck, but some aren't that bad. But I am at the point now where I have yet to actually meet. I know there's some out there that are probably perfectly fine people, but I have yet to meet any police or have any dealings with police or see any dealings with police in which I'm like, this guy is a good person and I'm totally on his side, and you know what?
Same.
Finally found the good cop. If I find one, I'll change my mind.
So then
I'm a man of evidence. So find one. Give me one.
So then are we basing this on personal experience? Because my personal experience with the black community is relatively negative. And so that means all black people are bad.
No, I see what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
But you have evidence of at least,
because I sought evidence, but not only besides seeking. I'm not saying you haven't sought evidence. Let me explain my case.
Okay, I'll hear you out.
Okay, because
I have a rebuttal, but I want to hear what you have to say.
Okay,
please.
So there's a couple things. One, what my main concern is that we don't judge the majority for the minority. I'm not saying the majority and minority is astronomically different. We could say 60-40 just to be in your favor. Okay,
no, I agree. We don't judge the majority for the minority. It doesn't matter the percentage.
And then
you don't judge groups based on other groups. You judge them on an individual basis.
Okay, and then if we're gonna build a case based off of only personal accounts as opposed to just more than just like statistical facts and so on and so forth, then on that case, if we're just basing off personal accounts, I feel like that also doesn't justify a grand opinion when it comes to I'm not gonna say justify it. It justifies your personal opinion, which is you're entitled to, and I agree with you on that. If your personal opinion, your personal outlook, I'm saying in the aspect of that, to say fuck the police, right? In the grand scheme of things, hurts the hurts the community more than it hurts the police.
So I understand. I understand what you're saying is you don't judge the group and all that, but I think there's been a misunderstanding here. My judgment is not on all cops as a group. I don't see a cop and immediately go fuck that guy. Okay. That's not what I do.
Yeah. Okay.
I judge each person, every human I see. I try to judge on an individual
basis.
I even go out of my way to do that.
Fair.
The problem is that it's clearly a very widespread issue within the police.
I agree.
Okay, and so as a group, there is a minority that do bad things.
Correct.
And you don't see, and this is the thing, is that if a cop does something really bad, you would see more police coming out and speaking out against it and be like, this guy should have gone to jail.
Yeah.
Right? But you don't see that.
Okay.
And I'm saying what I'm saying is I wouldn't have to go looking for them. They would come out of the fucking woodworks and stand up and say, no, this is wrong. I'm not okay with this.
Okay.
But that doesn't happen.
And that's also based on the assumption that the system doesn't hurt the cops as well. No. So that's another thing. That's another problem. That also cops that even police officers that aspire to be further in the law enforcement, lawyers, attorneys, judges, and so on and so forth. things like that.
Cops don't become lawyers. That's not a thing. But the detective,
there have been detectives and so on and so forth.
They want to make their ranks.
But there have been cops that have become lawyers after going to law school.
Yeah, and then they finally learned what the law was.
Yeah.
I see, like, whenever Clay was talking, you latched on to one of his points. One of his points, which was personal, which is personal experience.
Yeah, that just backs up whatever I'm saying. That's not my reason for it.
He latched onto his personal experience instead of latching onto things that actually happen, like people running away and getting shot.
All right, so then let's apply
also, and then also people that like basically lose their life and the cop walks away free. Those are situations that happen a lot more than they should, which means that like it definitely justifies what.
So then my question is, let's apply all this to black people.
All right.
Okay, so something bad happens with black people, and you actually have black people coming out and standing up and saying, "No, this is wrong. I'm not okay with this."
I have seen that.
There you go. There you
go. How many?
There's a lot.
Like more than one. How about that?
Sorry, we fucking killed Jesse Smollett earlier today.
More than zero, I should say.
Wow.
Yeah, you guys. Hey, there's three right there.
3 black people came out and killed the fuck out of one nigga that said something fucking.
I wish I could say that word sometimes, man. I'm sorry.
You can say ninja.
There are
these ninjas.
So then if I look up one case and I find just a cop speaking out against another bad cop, then that kills that argument.
Sure.
Go ahead.
Okay, that one part of that argument, not the whole argument.
Then if I find that, then we kill that part. We kill that when we tie it to the cops and the black people, right? The black community. We'll kill that. We'll kill that, right? What's to say the thing about
there is also, I want to point out, there's an inherent difference in that you don't choose to be black, but you choose to be a cop. So here's the other.
Also, you're doing a job wrong whenever like in those situations, you're doing a job wrong and you're afforded something instead. There aren't a real lot of like the black, like let's say the black community, whenever they commit crimes and stuff like that, they have conviction. We have high conviction rates. We can't compare that to cops that walk free.
We have more unsolved cases than cops being charged. Than cops cases against our cops. We have more unsolved cases in the minority community
by number. But we have to look at its percentages because there's more black people than there are cops. I'd imagine that might even not be the case. But the point, there's more crimes, in other words, committed by black people than there are by cops. But just if you're going on raw numbers, okay. But if we're going to talk you'd have to talk per capita and then look at percentage actual conviction rates and then percentage of unsolved crimes.
Let's put it like this:
police wear body cams, gang members don't.
Fair enough.
Police have recently started wearing body cams.
Yeah, only recently because it's been mandated.
Yeah.
And you know what happens when they wear body cams is the footage goes missing.
Yeah. Or it gets turned off,
or thrown away, or they get to look at it and then they. We looked at it and we didn't see any incriminating evidence without like.
Just like that one lady.
Yeah.
Just like that one lady that was raped by this cop. Evidence gone. Don't exist no more.
Oh.
What lady?
Wake up.
If you
want to walk me at work.
But so then, I guess I lost my train of thought because of that.
I do want to extend an olive branch because I do want to say that it gets overblown. And so it's like, as someone who does not like the police, I don't actually hate them. I just don't like them, and I don't want to deal with them. But
that's fair.
I see it overblown. Very fair. I see it overblown a lot, and I see certain groups that will act like everything cop does is wrong, or they'll try to act like every man is Rodney King, or whatever. Well, and it's not the case.
And that's what I'm saying is that what's happening.
Rodney King may have deserved.
But what I'm
okay, you get what the reference.
Yes.
But what I'm saying is, I guess what I'm saying is, what has happened in just previous podcasts is that anytime the police has been involved in anything, it's been fuck the police, and that is an extreme thought.
We are a comedy podcast, so like everyone, you should actually see the thing at the beginning.
No, I get that, but I'm talking about.
No, I know you know that. I'm just saying for the people that listen, like that's a good point to clarify.
Yeah,
it's like we do actually tend to hold fairly nuanced opinions on things. So if we say something,
well, I'm saying it like in this.
And I don't want to speak for Tyme and Jojo, but at least that's how I feel.
I'm saying it in this aspect, out of respect for me, I feel like fuck the police. Especially since I've had family that's worked in law enforcement, and I've had friends that have worked in law enforcement, and I know people that have worked in law enforcement that have died in line of duty. What about the good cops that have died in line of duty?
I get it.
And what I'm saying is an extremist point of view. It's like me. It's like I guess the easy way to say it is like this, without getting so overblown about it.
Well, I want to just say, I don't want to like sanctify anyone. Like,
yeah.
If they've died in the line of duty, they died doing something that's like extremely admirable, but it doesn't automatically mean like they never did anything wrong.
No, I'm not saying that.
I just want to clarify that it's not a black and white thing. Like this cop's always bad or this cop's always good. I get that. There's cops that do some good things and do some bad things.
There was one guy I remember when I was going to one of the Christmas parties. He just finished his. Coming out of the fucking academy, went in on a just routine route and was shot. All right, so and he died. His family was so on and so forth.
And that's extremely tragic.
So I'm not saying the aspect of just trying to sympathy votes. I'm saying an extremist point of view is an extremist point of view, and it's a wrong point of view.
Well, we don't hold extremist point of view.
But that's
also are not. I don't think at any point have we actually, in any kind of seriousness, advocated harming the police.
No, but fuck the police is still an extremist point of view.
I don't see it that way. I don't see fuck the police as an extremist point of view.
Well,
it's
an open interpretation to how far do you go to how far do you take the word, how extreme do you take the word fuck the police? Fuck. Okay. Right?
Sure. But that doesn't mean that just saying fuck the police is the extreme thing. That's kind of like linking the Pepe clown to racism, whatever. It's like, if you say fuck the police, you're an extremist, like, anarchist or whatever, which is not the case. Because there's people that say fuck the police, there's differing levels of fuck the police. Right?
Like, people that say, just say if you misgender somebody, they'll say that that's violence against them, like you're being an extremist. Right, yeah. Like, I don't really think that there's much that you can say to make yourself an extremist. Now, if you were doing something and like if we were campaigning that police should never be trusted, and like if you see a cop, you should try to inflict harm on them. Or don't do that. Don't harm the
anything. Anytime the police has been brought up on this podcast, has never been in a good light, and always been these guys are fuckheads and they don't do their fucking job and fuck the police.
If it weren't such a large majority of them that don't do their job,
a large amount, not a large. Not the majority is the wrong terminology.
But the stories that we've been bringing up were in fact police that weren't doing their job. Or the stories that we were bringing up were things that happened like that.
But the thing with Jussie Smollett, I'm not condemning the whole black community as a whole. For one thing, one black gay man has done.
If anything, I think the police finally did their fucking job on something once. But again, it's because it's so high profile.
Yeah.
Can I make an association?
Sure.
It's very light and probably not
I'm glad
decent.
You woke back up, by the way.
Please excuse me, I work 2 jobs. Anyway.
I was looking at you kind of weird.
Like, what the fuck's going on?
No, I know this is probably not.
I hope not.
I'm gonna leave now.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I know this probably is just like a very bad association, but you know how writers, for example, when someone reads their book and they extremely dislike it, they're faster to comment on it than they would if they enjoyed the book. I feel like it's the same. I don't feel like it's the majority of the police. I think there's just more reports of bad situations, bad...
You write what sells, and what sells is bad cops.
No, that's what I'm talking about, is that it gets overblown. I agree with that.
And so you're not going to find many good cop stories because good cop stories aren't written.
That have not died.
That's why
people who are still living, you don't see reports and stories.
I see a lot of reports of good cops. I see
that are still alive.
Yes, that are still alive. I see, like, especially there was this one cop. He used to go to neighborhoods and play with little kids and stuff like that. Like, there are definitely stories out there of good cops.
They've more recently started doing that.
Like, I don't see.
They've more recently started doing that. But again, I don't see it as good cops and bad cops, because for all I know, that guy just was a fuckhead to someone the other day and pulled him over for no reason. Like, right? So, like, I'm not saying that there's a certain number of people that are just good and a certain number of people that are just bad. What I'm saying is that the problem with the police culture, so let's talk about the police culture, is that bad behavior goes unpunished because they will protect themselves.
That just goes back to celebrities.
Even the ones that are the quote-unquote good cops who may not do the worst crimes, there is a police culture of protect your own.
That is the justice system failing us and not the police.
I don't believe it.
If the justice system convicted and indicted every cop, right, there would be less crimes committed by cops because they would be held accountable.
Okay, so what part of the justice system is failing? Oh,
the ones that don't indict, the DAs that protect, the DAs that don't, and it's not just the DAs. It's beyond the point of the DAs as well.
So let's keep in mind, I said it's the DA. It's not the DA, right? It might be in certain like high profile cases, but it's not just
the DA. It's
the prosecuting attorney and the detective in charge of it. Now, the prosecuting attorney may have some kind of tie to the police, but I know a lot of lawyers that fucking hate the cops, or at least don't like them, right? Again, just don't like the cops.
Okay.
Because the cops will often lie to them, and the cops bitch about lawyers saying that they let off guilty people, which is bullshit, because the lawyers are the ones that are supposed to be there helping determine whether they're guilty or innocent. The cops are just supposed to fucking arrest them and then shut the fuck up.
It's this whole fraternity fighting.
Remember back to what I said about the indictment process. Who's in there? It's the prosecutor and the investigating detective. The investigating detective is going to be part of that police office, okay? It is, I would be shocked. I don't have evidence for this, but I'd be happy to try and look it up or something if something comes to light. But I would be shocked if it is not that investigating detective that is derailing the indictment process. If he's not the one protecting, because I would be so surprised if it's the lawyer, okay? Does that make sense?
Okay, so then
it has to be the detective.
So then my question,
in most cases,
my follow-up question would be the detectives, which are the people that later on are influenced, do their records and so on and so forth, which go further up in the law field, attorneys, judges, so on and so forth, right? Mm-hmm. Those people are directly influenced by convictuating how well they take that those situations affect them. So what I'm saying is, while when we had that thing about, I was saying cops have become judges, so on and so forth. Cops don't become judges. Detectives become judges. You said that.
They don't. No, they don't become judges. I said cops
don't become cops don't become lawyers, or
cops become detectives. Lawyers become judges. You don't become a judge from being a cop.
I know you become I know that. Okay. Like, I'm saying become judges as in after. I didn't think I had to explain each step in the process where a cop becomes a detective, detective becomes a lawyer, the lawyer becomes a judge.
But that doesn't. I understand that, but I'm saying that doesn't actually happen very often.
It doesn't happen very often. I know it doesn't.
So it's irrelevant. It almost never happens. It's not most cops that are trying to become a lawyer and then a judge.
But their
conviction rate is, and anyways, their conviction rate would be irrelevant if they want to be a lawyer because it's not part of the job description.
It's not just it's who you know and who you take care of. And how you take care of.
They know each other and they take care of each other.
And so I'm saying so at the point in time, not all cops become detectives. Most cops don't become detectives.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is the detectives which are influenced or affect who that in that social that I guess say with detectives who are in the environment and where that split decision, the brotherhood matters and it affects are. Could in that case, in the more realistic sense, would be fuck detectives.
No, because it's the cops.
Because they're not the ones they're not getting indicted because we're saying the assumption is the detective.
So the other thing with the indictment process, you can bring in a witness, and I can guarantee you they bring in witnesses or whatever for this. They'll bring in like someone to testify or whatever. So they'll bring in someone who's going to say that the cop like maybe didn't do something wrong or flub it
or vice versa.
Yeah, and then the detectives aren't like the police chief or whatever who doesn't want this kind of bad blemish on there. Yeah. Which is why they'll just put them on administrative leave instead of
like in Atlanta whenever they were pulling over people and telling them that they had marijuana in their system. And whenever they tested negative for having marijuana in their system, they didn't get any type of reimbursement. They were still charged all the fines and stuff. The detective, not the detective, but the police chief went on record saying that I trust my police officers. They've been highly trained in finding this stuff, and the test that they take that judges them was wrong.
Yeah.
Okay,
so he's saying I trust the police.
So that's police.
He's saying I trust the police. I trust other police over a scientific test. In other words, I'll back them up even though all the evidence,
they run out
the
of
objective
people to arrest
evidence
for marijuana.
And then so then who do you go after? Who do you go to appeal?
Oh, after the cops?
Yeah.
No one. Who do you appeal to after the police? Who polices the police? That's my issue. No one is policing the police. No one. They don't police themselves. They protect themselves. There's no one that's in charge of policing the police. Like the system as it is should work, but there's so much corruption and nepotism that it can't work. That, I guess we're digging deeper, but my issue is with all the corruption, the nepotism, and this whole we're a brotherhood, protect each other, but they're supposed to be sworn to protect the public, not each other. Like, if you're a policeman listening to this, you are sworn to protect the public, not your best friend in the car next to you. And I honestly think, I'm going to go grab a beer, but I honestly think you're disgusting if you put another policeman over the public.
And I agree with an aspect that if, like, I'm not, and I guess the best way to put it is, bad people should be convicted. They should be held to a standard. I'm not saying that cops aren't being held to that standard. I'm not saying that. I'm saying that I guess the easiest way, I guess the best way for me to kind of like come about it is more or less like how I guess it's because I come from a standpoint in where like I see where like I see where you're coming from, and I guess it's because I've had good experiences with the police and I've seen good things.
So now you're talking from a personal experience.
No, I'm saying because you're saying you've had nothing but negative.
I see what he's saying.
And I'm saying I've had good, and I've seen, and I've looked for so on and so forth. It's not just personal experience. I'm saying that I've seen the good that is affected, and so on and so forth. I've seen I understand where the corruption plays and where it negatively affects the community as a whole. My question is then at this point in time, what is my thing is, if you say fuck the police, right, and we are strongly for fuck the police, not saying in general us, but in general.
Yeah, all podcasters speak for themselves.
Yeah, but I'm saying like let's just have the whole thing with when BLM was like had these whole not riots. They had the peaceful protests. It was peaceful. I'll say the BLM protests that were peaceful were BLM. Anything beyond that could have been whoever it was. I'm not going to associate them with that. Majority. Why not put the BLM, the people that are? Why not put more jobs into the law enforcement?
To be fair, I say fuck BLM as well.
I
hate them too.
And
they
that's
haven't
fair.
done any good because they act like every cop is a monster.
Yeah.
And so now let's turn the tables. My issue with them and a lot of these anti-cop activists who will call people bootlickers and shit like whatever that fucking means, right?
Yeah.
All this shit, right? So my issue with them is that they act like every policeman ever is a monster, which completely derails any discussion because they're acting completely irrational. Being like as uncharitable as fucking possible, right? Acting like it's just these people are out to get us and all this stuff like that. Like there's some kind of active collusion of, from like the very tippy top, like we're gonna fuck over black people in every chance we get, or we're gonna fuck over this community in every chance we get.
Yeah.
I don't think there's any evidence for that. I think there's evidence that there's general corruption and general nepotism, and that a lot of the results are that then allows bad actors to come in, do bad things, and get away with it.
I guess in the clarification of that process, that's more or less where I'm coming from, is that the other constant like negative aspect of us speaking on the police. Granted, like I said, we've been talking about only negative things about the police in general when it comes to the news, because that's mainly what speaks. And by the fact that there's, and obviously you're not going to be like, you know, this cop is this and this and that. He's not speaking for all cops, not this and this and that. We don't clarify that aspect of it. It makes in my opinion, from what I see from my perspective, it makes us no better than the people that are treating all cops as monsters.
No, well, so here's the thing: is that up to this point, we have said it as like jokes.
That's fair.
So I think I might have told like a story or two about it, but that wasn't meant to be like, you know, therefore my joke about all cops being
applied to
it's not actually applied to that. So like I am glad that we're clarifying this, because I don't think that they're all just evil monsters out to like eat your children or what the fuck ever, right?
You know, there is an actual demon in Philippines that they believe in that actually eats like babies.
Every culture has that. Every culture has that.
But beyond
that,
we do.
What was that Santa Claus monster? The Krampus.
Krampus. Yeah. But I guess that's where more or less my clarification was for the aspect of.
I think it's good to clarify.
Yeah, that we were. I guess that's where I was.
I hope I didn't like talk over all of y'all too much.
No,
especially because I know y'all haven't said a whole ton. But did y'all want to add anything? Because I know it's supposed to be me and Will so far.
Fuck 12.
All right.
All right. He is entitled to say what he wants to say. Jojo is also the most uneducated one at this platform.
This is the unfiltered. So there's no filter. You're supposed to say that. Hey, you know what? Fuck 12. All right. Did you want to add anything or?
I think I did. I have been talking.
No, you have.
The only thing that I say is that I do agree with Will that the system is corrupt.
Yes,
like,
it is.
The system is corrupt as well. But and the police have a horrible job as well. They have a job that puts people in a perpetual cycle that they're going to continue to break the law. So there's no good way for the police to do their job, but on top of there being no good way for them to do their job, whenever you get down into the corruption and the fact that there are police that abuse their power and are not held accountable for it, for the majority of the cases, whenever they do actually, there is a big alarm where something happens and they're not they're not held accountable, because I can't say that the majority of police are bad, because I don't believe that, but I can say that the majority of the bad police that are held in that do something that is unlawful, they don't get convicted.
Yeah.
That's what I can say.
Which means that the other ones are complicit.
I get
in some way.
The minority cases amongst a majority of the minority cases against the police are not are just pushed away.
Most of the time,
Most
of the time they'll either get suspended or they'll get fired from their job and go and work at another police precinct.
Yeah.
Now I will say that due to the light of like social media, it's been a lot less likely. Because and now I remember when Jojo was talking about the guy that raped that woman, he was convicted.
Yeah.
Oh, he was?
He was convicted. The one that would go around raping, he raped multiple women. It wasn't just one. He was convicted. Police have stepped up and said against him. He was convicted. I specifically remember that man sitting in there crying.
That's because you can't get away with crimes against a woman.
Yeah. You're right. That's what we need to do. Fight the police with women.
Boy, just a whole army of Xena.
But
well,
no,
he actually.
Like,
go ahead.
Like, for any genuinely good-hearted cop out there listening to this podcast, if if your partner does something wrong and you know it's wrong, speak up.
Just speak up. But then that's the other thing too is like, so there are cops that I would otherwise like, right? Because I know damn well there are police that want to say something.
Yeah.
I know damn well, and they're afraid because they know that they'll be passed over for promotions. They'll be viewed as a traitor.
Their family would be targeted.
Right.
You'd be a fucking hero.
And again,
no, you wouldn't. Your family would be targeted.
You'd be a hero to everyone but the police, right? Yeah, and they will target you and try to like throw you in jail or something, right? To shut you up.
Yeah.
But again, that's an issue with the majority of police being complicit in this.
I guess my best way to say shit falls down.
No, yeah.
So like I'm not saying.
Oh
like,
yeah, the corruption comes from the top.
Yeah,
for sure.
And it's worse at the bottom because if it's worse at the bottom because there's so many. The lawlessness is to an extreme.
Yeah,
I'll agree with you. Shit falls from the top and it gets worse at the bottom because that's where it piles up. And what I'm saying is that's the thing is the assumption that like if you go to be a cop. And if you at some point in time, any point in time, interact with a bad cop, even if he's like a senior cop or anything like that, you have 9 times out of 10 you have to if you say anything, your family's targeted. You're no longer, and then once your family's targeted, it makes it harder for you. You get like you said, passed over. So the assumption that like Jojo was saying, like speak up, it's more than just that.
Yeah. Well, and I think, but here's so I think he actually does have like a really good point. Is like if one guy speaks up, he's gonna get mobbed and fucked up. Basically, 2 guys speak up, they're gonna get fucked up. If 100 guys speak up, the fuck are they gonna do?
Shit falls from the top.
They're gonna intimidate 100 of their police. That would be like a quarter of our police department. Or something like that.
I don't even think we have more than like 100.
I think we're in a shortage right now.
Yeah.
But so that'd be most of the. But
we'll
what I'm
have
saying
a deputy
is like, this is the thing, right? If there's so many there's so many good-hearted cops or whatever, prove me wrong. Prove everything that I've said wrong and speak up when something bad happens.
And then the question...
Please prove... I want to be proven wrong on this. I don't want the police to be horrible people.
There's also an overall shortage of cops. Like the action in general.
Well, now, yeah, especially.
So my question
who would want to be a cop when you see all this, like, all this shit?
You have to deal with, 1, the police, and then you have to deal with, 2, the community. Yeah. The community is...
No, and I agree they have a hard job. I'll agree to that.
So then my question is
also just stayed in high school, but I mean, you know...
Well,
sorry,
fair enough.
I had to crack that joke somewhere.
At no point in time am I offended by. But I'm saying at this point in time, and a lot of the biggest problems that people advocate is policing their own community.
Yeah.
Why don't we have a large number of the people that say "fuck the police" join the police?
Because then they have to fuck themselves.
So then at that point in time, what is your answer to the fact that if a large majority of the people that have issue with the cops, right? Let's just say...
No, I see what you're saying. Is like nut up or shut up thing.
Yeah.
Right?
If you're gonna bitch about it, go and do something about it.
Well...
I mean, I guess not to do something about it. I mean, it's more or less... If you want to police your company, your community, if you're advocating for policing your own community, right, and there's a police shortage, the quickest answer, not saying the best answer, the quickest answer is to have your community and go into law enforcement.
So I gotta cut us off because it's been over an hour, and that actually is another topic I want us to talk about because that's actually going to lead into like black community issues, and I want us to have that discussion on the podcast. But that's more of that. So let's bring it back.
We'll see episode 9 to be continued? Question marks.
Yeah.
Will we be back?
We're on our 10th episode.
Oh, 10.
Yeah.
I thought it was 9. I can't count.
That's okay.
Shots.
I asked y'all before we started. I was like, is it 9 or 10 or what are we on? You told me, so you knew earlier.
I'm getting old.
I am too, man.
I'm getting old.
Unfiltered Podcast episode, fuck yourself.
Yeah, there you go.
You know, I could just check like right now,
or our viewers would check if we had more.
Episode 8 probably just got posted. I could yell, "Hey, everyone, go watch episode 8," but it would be retarded because this is episode 10, and they're not going to see it until
that's fair.
until after that one's already been up.
Oh, it has been posted.
Oh,
has it? Okay.
Word.
Yeah, I still got to check the audio and make sure that it works.
Oh, and thanks to our...
We'll check that out in a little bit. We got one more thing that I really want to talk about. Actually, shit. I got to say one more thing because Tyme actually pointed something out. There was something that was... there's a difference... Because you said about the... about the high recidivism or whatever. And that is more of like a prison system issue than necessarily the legal system itself. I think our legal system is actually like really, really good, but our prison system is fucking trash.
Oh yeah, you thought cops are bad.
That's what I was talking about.
Yeah,
they send somebody to a place where
they're forced. They're forced to do that.
You get out of jail. You more than likely have a parole officer because they let you out, or whatever. Yeah. You have to pay the parole officer, but they leave something on your record that makes it hard for you to get a job. And also, they say going to prison is paying your debt to society, but once you get out, you have paperwork on yourself that makes society not accept you back. Yeah. So it's like. There's no fucking... it's just a cycle that keeps you...
And so, yeah, exactly. And so that's the thing that I wanted to talk about in the next...
we'll talk about that too.
Is the prison system. So we're going to go, like... I think we should have, like, a trifecta. I've kind of been thinking we should do this, and I guess we started it tonight without me really realizing it. But I want us to talk about the prison system next. So let's all do research on that.
So
get some statistics.
Next week's prison system.
And then we will talk about... and then we can start talking about like minority communities and that sort of thing. Because I think that's a huge issue.
Yeah.
Especially like some of the shit that's going on in the black
community. I'm doing jail because my dad was a correctional officer.
So is my stuff.
I hear a lot of bad stories.
There's a lot of shit that happens. And I still remember going to the prisons for the Christmas parties.
Really?
Yeah, they had Christmas parties at the prison. Yeah. So he worked at the prison, and that's where I met a lot of the cops and correction officers. Yeah. And so we would go there, and I remember sitting there and talking. I even remember one time having a conversation with a guy about racial profiling. You know, I would say, look, racial profiling bad. He's like, yes, it's bad. It's helpful, though. And that's the problem. He said racial profiling is bad, but it is helpful. That is what he told me.
You found an honest cop.
Yeah.
So that's not. I'm not being racist per se. I want us to actually just wait for the next episode. Yeah. Okay.
We'll leave on that cliffhanger.
So I can explain myself. Let me explain myself. Okay. Shit. But all right, we got one more thing.
Oh, yeah.
I am an astrophysicist.
Yeah, black hole.
And
congratulations.
I had no, don't applaud me for that. It's not that impressive.
Okay. Better than shit I'm doing.
I'm saying they're astrophysicists.
I don't know.
Yeah,
exactly.
Anyone can say that.
Astro,
I'm sure, but
is really cool because Astro Boy.
Yeah, I love Astro Boy.
That was for all the wrong reasons, and I hate you. But we had the first photograph ever taken of a black hole. Now, every photograph, I don't know if y'all have seen it yet.
Yeah, I have.
Okay. I guess so, because of the fucking memes.
No, this is important.
The memes are godlike.
Society needs to know.
We had never seen an actual photo before. So all the other photos, except for that photo, are all artist drawings and renderings and all that stuff. There's no photos of black holes taken from the Hubble Space Telescope.
No.
Okay. So they looked at two black holes. First of all, to do this, they had to develop this software and this algorithm to actually be able to connect telescopes all across the Earth. There's like 8 different telescope arrays, okay? All across the face of the Earth. Now, what that does is if you can actually manage to synchronize them up and get take all the data and everything like that, which it was like petabytes of data.
Yeah.
That's above terabytes.
Yeah,
it was like 500 petabytes or something absurd like that. Yeah, that's a lot of data to crunch.
That's like all of Best Buy.
It took them 2 years to crunch the data. Yeah, yeah. Go buy every hard drive they have, right? But so what that does is that gives you a telescope that effectively gives you a telescope that's the size of the Earth. So that's the cool thing, is that normally like the Hubble Space Telescope is like so many feet. Or whatever. This bitch is 24,000 miles.
That's wild.
In size, right? It's a big telescope. what that allowed them to do was they looked at the black hole in the center of our galaxy, which is Sagittarius A star, and they also looked at the black hole in the M87 galaxy, which is an enormous galaxy with an active center, and it has like relativistic jets coming out of it and stuff. The thing with M87 is that it's let me start with Sagittarius A star. Taking an actual photo of our supermassive black hole, which is about 4 million times the mass of the sun. Okay. Now the sun's so big, just real quick, the sun is so big that 99.99999% of all the mass in the solar system is in the sun. Something
I think
like
you
that.
missed a 9.
Yeah.
I might have. I don't know. It was some absurd amount, right? Of all the masses in the solar system.
Our
the
solar
whole
system.
thing is in the sun. I think it might be 99.9 whatever. It doesn't matter. But it's mostly
a lot
in
of
the sun.
nines.
Yeah, it's a goddamn lot of nines. Okay, but 4 million times that mass. So it's effectively 4 million times the mass of our solar system. Yeah. In our black hole. Okay. We tried to take photos of it. Apparently it's a little too active. There's a lot of like light and stuff, so they weren't actually able to. I mean,
why have you come here?
But they weren't actually able to really get a good picture of the black like silhouette itself or whatever. Yeah. They were actually worried. I've been following this for 2 years. That's how excited I was for this. Is they actually thought for a little while that maybe it was they thought that maybe one of its relativistic jets was pointed at us, which could be bad.
Yeah, man, it would kill us.
I mean,
in billions of years, but
no. I mean, it depends on how active it was.
Yeah, that's true.
We could be like gradually moving more and more into it, and then we like if that was the case, y'all, we would be fucked.
No, Clay, I think the space armor could take.
We would die before even making it to the black hole because it'd pull us out of orbit.
Well, no. It's not that we're going towards the black hole. It's that the black holes, when they spin all that matter around them, it creates this really strong relativistic jet from all the magnetic fields. And so some of that, we're not exactly sure on all the mechanics of how it happens, which is why this is another good thing. But we're not exactly sure. But that spinning particles, they're going like the speed of light, and they're like trillions and trillions of degrees of temperature. So they get ripped
really
apart.
hot.
Yeah, they get ripped apart into their components, right? The atoms do. So there's like protons and electrons, and there's charged particles, and whenever they move, it creates a magnetic field. So a magnetic field is created by a moving electric charge.
Yes.
Even in iron, like magnets, when you zoom in, it's the atoms themselves that are lined up. Okay. Rips a bunch of that stuff out, like shoots a bunch of that material out into space at like, we're talking like gamma rays and all this other nasty stuff going at like this, the speed of light for gamma rays, damn near it for the beta particles and stuff. That stuff will fry a planet. In fact, we've viewed galaxies where we can see there's 2 galaxies that are getting close to merging or whatever, and one of them has an active nucleus, and you can tell that black hole that's like millions and millions of light years away is just frying the whole fucking galaxy. Like a quasar could fry a whole goddamn galaxy. So we're worried that our black hole might be a quasar pointed at us.
And so that was one thing I thought was pretty cool because I've done some research about black holes. But my biggest question was like why does it essentially generate so much heat? And I guess that explains why it generates generates a shit ton of heat.
Oh yeah. They are the brightest objects in the universe. The quasars are. Not the hole itself.
Yeah,
no matter actually comes from the black hole, but from the accretion disk.
Yes.
Yeah. It's because the gravity's so strong. And it has to go like if you see it there orbiting, that means that it's going extremely fast, which means all that stuff's rubbing up against each other. So it's like it's more than just friction, but to like a layman explanation, it's essentially friction to the extreme. Like imagine rubbing your hands together and they just fucking ionize and turn to gas. Yeah. And then those fucking turn to plasma.
Like a fire tornado.
Literally turn your hands into plasma. Yeah. It's just plasma. It's extremely hot plasma.
If you dumb it down for all the stupids, a fire tornado in space.
Yeah.
My arms are tired.
And then
Cyclone actually.
So anyways, we tried to look at our black hole. We couldn't. It was too active. I need to double check on this because we could just be fucked, but nihilism and whatever. But I don't think that it turned out that it is pointed at us. Thankfully,
How much time do we have, Clay?
If it is, then we just hope that maybe it's not that strong, or that it'll go away.
We'll just get a really hot summer.
Or that we're moving out of it. Yeah.
Ooh, it's hot in December.
Or that actually that's pretty much it. Either you hope that it's not too strong, or that we're actually moving out of it.
and it hits Mars.
Yeah, fuck Mars. No, the thing is, they're so wide. It just
I know, man. It'll hit everything.
Yeah, it'll hit the whole.
The whole system's just gone. Yeah.
It would actually strip our whole atmosphere away.
Yeah,
from 30,000 light years away.
No, man.
So this is 30,000 light years away. We were trying to photograph that. It's like photographing something the size of an orange on the surface of the moon.
Yeah.
Which, if you don't know, the moon's 250,000 miles away. The International Space Station is 250 miles away. So the moon's 1,000 times farther than the International Space Station. Think how far the space station looks from Earth. Multiply that by 1,000. That's how far the moon is. People don't realize how far away the moon is. Okay. We couldn't get this one, but they had also looked at the one M87, which is 53 million light years away. Now that one is 6.5 billion times the mass of the sun. So that black hole, the one in the center of our galaxy is like around like some percentage of the size of Mercury's orbit.
Yeah.
Okay, that black hole is bigger than our whole solar system, and I don't mean out to Pluto. I mean out to the heliopause. So like 3.5 times Pluto's distance, which is the farthest we've ever sent anything. Voyager space probes. Yeah. They just left the solar system.
I was thinking of the Voyager. Yeah, I was thinking about the Voyager.
Yes, I'm talking about the actual barrier of the solar system. They left in the 1970s and just got out of the solar system.
Now that we're talking about space shit, did y'all see that the rover came back on?
That was so. I'll talk about that in a second, actually, because that's a good question. There's a confusion there.
Yeah, it's still dead.
Photographing the M87 was like photographing a pebble on the surface of the moon, so even harder, essentially. But yeah. So, I don't know, man. I'm just really stoked about it. Like, really fucking stoked, because black holes are one of the coolest things ever. And now we'll be able to test, like, the extreme limits of general relativity and stuff like that. And so far, it's looking pretty good.
Now that we've seen one, I'm expecting better concept art of black holes.
Yeah. There's some trash concept art.
Hopefully not like the butthole one. The
Galaxy one? I told everyone to send me every black hole meme they had. They have been glorious. Oh my god.
It's been wild.
Go on my Facebook, look on my timeline.
It's wild.
It's just a compilation of all the black
holes. I love the one Rolf just...
yeah. Life has many doors, Ed boy.
I think that was also used for Full Metal Alchemist as well.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. That was also because what was the doors in Full Metal Alchemist?
Talking about the one where he would get his brother back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Life has many doors.
I liked Black Hole Chan.
Oh yes! You see, like, there's two of them.
Yes, it was like, but you can't fuck a black hole, and then it's like.
but you know, there's two of them. There's two of them because the other one. Yeah. So the younger one is for the one that is. There's two girls. One's a younger one, one's an older one.
Oh, okay.
The younger one's for the smaller one. The older one's for the bigger one. And
I saw one that was like they just took the orange thing and just drew like a girl bending over.
Oh no, okay. So you know how they had Earth Chan?
Yeah, I know. So that's the other one that I saw.
Yeah, there's Black Hole one now. There's two of them.
Yeah, Black Hole Chan.
Yeah, there's two of them.
Yeah, so I haven't seen the younger one.
Yeah, there's a younger one for one of the smaller ones, and there's the older ones for the bigger one.
I keep seeing the one of her eating Earth or whatever. That one's kind of...
Yeah, the big one. She's got long hair.
She's holding Mars in the other hand.
Yeah. With like a goth punk attitude.
It wasn't until the day before when I was thinking about it, and I was like, what if they reveal this photo and it's just someone holding up the hand like that? And then it was like, that'll be a meme. And then I was like, oh my god, they're gonna make black hole memes. That was like when it dawned on me that this was gonna be a meme. I fucking love it, man. It's so great.
Memes are the best.
Oh yeah,
they've done great things for us.
And the best meme ever to come out, Pop Team Epic. Pop Team Epic. I always say Epic.
That anime's a meme.
That Clay, you have to watch it.
It's just a meme.
I'll watch it.
The whole anime's a meme.
I'll consent and watch it because it's memes.
It's lit. The whole anime's clips.
Yeah.
Just short clips of memes.
So kind of like movie 43 or whatever.
Yeah. Just fucking memes.
They're white.
And
they're black.
And there are two Asian girls voiced by grown men. Shit you not. They actually. Oh my. bitch, you've been saved today.
Oh yeah, it's also your life has been spared.
Like at one point in time, this lady comes and she's on the airplane. She's like, chicken or beef? Walks, chicken or beef? And she rolls up to those two, chicken or beef? And that the little one grips her fist and she's like ready to deck the fuck out of her. And Thomas, beef. And she goes, you've been spared. And spits at her feet.
I think my favorite one is the cat. It's this alien. It's this alien on the cat bed, and she was like, "You can't have the cat's bed. I am a cat." Meow, meow.
You gotta watch it. You don't have to watch it.
Yeah.
I've watched it, and I'm sick of it. It's a meme. It's a
season 2 is out.
I know season 2's out.
All right, we're way off topic.
There was one
It's
controversy about it, just real quick. There was a thing about like
don't try to filter us.
People were acting like
you can't take pictures of black holes.
No. That would be, oh my god, I'd just fucking burn the whole planet to the ground if someone tried to say that. But
I did actually believe them when they said that you couldn't take pictures of black hole. Also,
I thought you meant like it's like someone trying to say like, no, you're not allowed to do that.
No.
Oh, okay.
No, saying that it's impossible. People were saying
it was.
Yeah.
Until
science
2017.
improved.
Yeah, they're legit. Like this was a guy's thing for years. The thing is that there's been like a minor controversy with it. Because there was, and like as soon as this stuff started happening, I started seeing this thing posted where it was like, "This is Katie Bowman. Her code is responsible for this and this." I'm not seeing her name anywhere, and I'm like, I see her name. I knew she's like, I've seen that she was one of the project things.
People were trying to give her the. Yeah,
they're trying to say that it was her responsibility. So like, she was in charge of the algorithm stuff, right? It's like she was one of the project leads, or one of the one of the leads, right? So she was in charge of a team. So she deserves credit, right?
Correct.
And she got credit.
Correct.
But what people are doing is they're trying to spin this narrative of she didn't get it because she's a woman, and which is absurd. And they're also, the thing is not just that they're doing that; it's that they're trying to act like she was the sole reason, solely responsible for this algorithm code. Okay, now.
I don't really
developed
believe
a
that
method.
they took those pictures of the black hole because the Earth is flat.
Anyways, she developed a method. She developed a method, right? And she talked about it at a TED Talk. But that wasn't the method that they used. So it wasn't the technique, I mean, to find it.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean that like it was all worthless. They're obviously exploring other techniques, and it just happened that the one she went for ended up not being the one that they used. That's how projects work, right?
Yeah.
The whole point is that science is a collaborative thing.
Correct.
People really don't realize just how... I told you there's 8 different observatories, right? Over 200 scientists. There's one guy that's in charge... But no one's even tried to give him credit, right? Sole credit, I mean.
Yeah.
They've always said, like, this is a team. They even did multiple simultaneous press announcements, okay? Yeah. And to her credit, she even came out and was like, look, I'm not solely responsible for this. This is a huge team effort. Like, please stop. So for the love of almighty God, leave your fucking gender politics out of science. I don't want it.
Well,
they don't want it.
These are also the people that also say, you can't believe it. It's just a theory.
No, that's the creationists. That's the different people. They might be just as stupid. I don't know, but it's the creationists.
The same glue sniffers.
Yeah, the
same glue
I think you mean they sniff the same glue.
Same glue sniffers. It's not real. It's just a theory. It's not how fucking science works.
Yeah, that's not how it works.
Theory I bet you they don't even believe that the Earth is flat.
We're going to remove
some of
Tom
them probably
from the
do.
podcast.
The creationists do. So there you go.
Yeah, creationists do believe the Earth is flat.
Yeah, so you're in good company.
There's quite a few.
Well, not all creationists. It's not a 1-to-1. No, it's not.
Oh, now you don't believe that because because the people you align with. There's no way people I align with are idiots.
It's not a 1-to-1 relation. It's not a 1-to-1 ratio there, but yeah, it's, flat. Not all creationists are flat earthers, but in my experience, all flat earthers. All flat earthers are creationists. Yeah.
Fair.
So
look what you did.
You hurt yourself.
I heard a rumor that Clay was a flat earther as well.
Well, you heard wrong.
Oh, you talk about the thing. I swear, Tyme asked you
What's
that question.
What's your address again? I'm gonna burn your house down. That's what I'm gonna do. Yeah, I knew you had to have done that.
It wasn't me.
Oh, really?
It wasn't.
I felt like
for those that don't know, you felt like doing it.
I felt like I felt like it was him.
It legitimately wasn't me.
So some other jackasses should be arrested for 5 years. Yeah, it is. So for those that don't know, there's like this thing where you can ask you can ask questions
Anonymously.
Yeah, some nonsense. I normally don't do these things, but I was like, well, whatever. Someone said, "Why do you think the Earth is flat?" It's just, upset. I'm upset.
Unacceptable. You start meshing a bunch of niggas on your Facebook. You did this?
I just checked. I got to know why the moon look like it do. I don't know.
I definitely feel like that's now. Such a generic name, y'all never know.
Yeah.
Fuck.
But nonetheless, goodbye everybody. We had a
All
wonderful
right, everyone.
day.
It's been really fun.
All right.
Tell people about us. Do drugs.
Do
Lots
not
of
do
them.
drugs. No,
Lots.
never
Oh, I
mind.
thought we were
Don't.
off.
You can't sign up yet, Joe. Fuck you, Jojo. All right.
Sugar, enjoy the coke while you can.
Good night, everyone.
Bye.